YouTube was good. It's your boy Jovan.
This is Jovan's Knife Flicks. 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 Every day carry for your viewing pleasure. We just having fun together. Haters try to say we weird, but we doing better. Knife community is all that matters. Welcome to the Knife live stream. Be yourself, say what's up, put the knives up. We on the stream, have a good time. Welcome to the Knife live stream. Be yourself, say what's up, put the knives up. We on the stream, have a good time. This is Jovan's Knife Flicks. 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 This is Jovan's Knife Flicks.
Friday night fix is ready. Here we go. Watch me scramble to complete a 3-hour show. We'll talk about knives and what's on your mind. Never know what will come up this time. We vibe and we chill, including spirited debate. But we do it with love and never with hate. Talk about knives and what's on your mind. Never know what will come up this time. We vibe and we chill, including spirited debate. But we do it with love and never with hate. We vibe and we chill, including spirited debate. But we do it with love and never with hate.
Yeah, it's a Friday night flick and you know what's going down. Get your friends and your knives and let's have a good time. Got that play, click, clacking and I'm ready to go. Gotta check the homie Jovan to see what knives he's got.
I can't believe it's Friday and we made it. Get the weekend started, let's go live on YouTube. It's Friday, I can't believe we made it. It's Friday.
I can't believe it's Friday and we made it. Get the weekend started, let's go live on YouTube. Ooh. It's a Friday night flick and you know what's going down. Get your friends and your knives and let's have a good time. Got that Blake.
Yeah, Murray, got the world in his spit. Blades.
Phone went out because we lift a little bit, but are you high on cigarettes? And when that stuff runs out, you're gonna wanna make it. Are you high on cigarettes?
Let's watch Jovan's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Jovan's weirdness and get high on cigarettes.
What is up, guys? I've got my radio voice on for Friday Night Flicks. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. That's too weird. I got to get off that. I was trying to up my game a little bit at a time. Thought I'd go with the broadcaster voice plug in, but nah, didn't work for me. How is everybody? Marco's in the house. Henry G, Ground Fog, Sobex, what is up? Yeah, B Shady, the man, the myth. Channel member, what is up? Yeah, I figured I'd try to start at 8 because we're always up against said faction. I'm kind of like their kickoff show. So I want to try at least, have 3 hours for us. Burn Relic, what is up? Marcos Gamma, what is up? My brother. Guys, if I feel or look a little bit dopey tonight, it's because I am. I'm operating on very little sleep. I've been staying with my dad. I'll be going up there after the live. It's been crazy. I'm not even going to get into it, but it's nuts. My little brother's coming out tomorrow, though, so that'll be a good thing. We got Heyman in the house. What's up, Heyman? Heyman rallied with us in Atlanta. Richard Hopkins is now a little bit north and west of me, but evidently has a good view of the sky, so his Starlink's hooked up. I've got some new stuff to show you guys over here. Who else we got in the house that's new? Because we're early, so Marco, I don't know if you were here when I said hello to you earlier. I know Brother Richard heard me say hello. And I know Heyman heard me say hello. I love it when y'all are chatting with each other. Mad Yako, what's up, brother? Joe Isabella. He's my third eye guy. Not to mention other swagalicious shit, but let me show you a couple of interesting things that came in. And I did an unboxing today, and I did it an injustice. I didn't unbox it properly. Or let's put it this way, I didn't assemble it properly. But one of the things is a company called Peachy. They're a Canadian company, and this is a little titanium liner lock. I just did that. That was my fault. Katana, and it came with several scale sets. The scale sets only require 2 screws. They kind of fold into each other. They're G10. Kind of a very unique knife. VG10, so it's nothing super fancy, but it's very sharp. Be good for feather sticking. I'm thinking about using it for the channel box opening knife because it's small. It's what they describe as a modern, their interpretation of a modern EDC folder. To me, a little different. I will tell you, after our spirited discussion last week about this knife, the Mr. Designs Titan, I have talked to Miha to try to get some idea on, why it costs what it costs. And we talked about it or texted about it. And I'm in the process of either buying it outright or trade buying it or I'm going to own this knife. I'm going to own this $400 knife because, and I might get it before it went for sale. Now that they're here, it was like $375 was the pre-sale on it. Again, very expensive, but very unique. A lot of R&D went into this. This knife was designed for pretty much over 3 years. And then the production is a little bit different because I can just push this button and the knife goes out because that's an entire spring that's locking it up and down. And it's a coil spring, so it doesn't feel anything like a traditional axis lock. And it's just wicked big. So that is the Mr. Mister. I haven't done a review on it yet. Mr. Mister Titan. Titan. And then I unboxed some Kaiser stuff. The other thing that Peachy sent me, which I think is as cool as the knife, is this little tool right here. It looks very unassuming. Fits in my pack. It comes with this little leather slip, but it's a pry bar. It's a can opener, which I never use, or a cap opener, cap lifter. Thought I put a bit over here because it's got this magnetic. Here it is. So it's got that little area right there. Magnetic bit driver. Cleverly done. I carry a little titanium box with some bits in it. But if you're faced with any bolts, this is an adjustable bolt grabber. And I have tested this on my battery, on my car. And if it's, rusted down, you're probably not going to get a lot of ways with it. But if you're just looking at a bolt that you're trying to remove or some furniture you're putting together, it works very well. And then you've got a really nice little saw that locks out. So now that saw is locked with a little liner lock. And then this was just a scalpel point, but it came with, I don't know what number these are. So it's got this little scalpel blades that are non-locking. They fold right in there. You don't even know they're there. Very cool little tool, titanium. And it came with like this little stocking looking leather thing that you could drop in your bug out bag, drop in your pack. It's got a magnet. Comes over. I thought it was pretty cool. Bless Knives, Donnie, what is up? And then we got some hologround Kaiser Vanguards that are, less expensive, aluminum handles, 14C. They're nice ones. And a G10 D2. So even lower price. Now the D2 is not hollow ground. It is flat ground. But the original 2 is a pretty cool knife. I've enjoyed the size of it. I've been carrying the, as a matter of fact, the one in my pocket that I haven't been showing. I think I showed it here. I've been carrying that one. That one's titanium, Tonto, S45, hollow ground. And snappy. It's got the adjustable clutch lock. Cliff Broad, what is up? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. We're early because we're up against said faction. They will be up. They will be up. And then tonight, we're going to have a gentleman join us from Sweden, Lex Custom International. He makes scales for a few knives right now. A few interesting knives. He makes scales for the automatic stitch and the ramlock stitch. Titanium rib scales that are done very well. He makes them for the bug out, the Hogue Deca. Jim, brother Jim got a set of scales because he had a V2 Hogue Deca. And then brother Shane, I don't think got a set of these scales. He got a set of different scales. But yeah, he's going to be joining us from Sweden. It'll be about 3 o'clock in the morning his time. And you know, we'll I'm looking forward to meeting him. He's got a Instagram that we can look at real quick so you can see a lot of his scales. He's also got an Etsy store, which is how you pick them up. That's man, the myth, the legend. And then he's been doing some Microtech MSIs.
We are a Swedish manufacturer of premium scales in titanium for a few of the Microtech knives out there. So first up, we got the MSI. These are Cerakoted in Hunter Orange, and of course you can find a lot of different finishes in my Etsy shop. The scales give
Then the Stitch
Hi guys, look at these.
Auto.
These are the titanium scales for the auto stitch. These are Cerakoted in wild purple. What's nice about these scales that you have the opportunity to get rid of the blade play. I know that a lot of us got this knife out of the box with a lot of side to side blade play. And there are no washers, no ball bearings, nothing inside to pick up the extra room. So if you got this and you got a version with blade play, often you can tighten all the screws, but still you cannot tighten the area in between the scales enough to get rid of the blade play. So these are really nice. They got some extra coating on the surface that interacts with the blade, and Cerakote
basically eliminated the blade play, but a lot of really cool scales. They're the Hogue Deca V2.
Hi, welcome to Lex Custom International, and
I got a
I'm just
video
going
where I
to show
put those
you
on, and they run
my
very, very
Hogue
easily.
Deca V2 with my titanium scales on it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it.
But he'll be joining us. He's also got an Etsy store where he sells his stuff. I've got it pulled up. We'll look at it here in a little bit. Looks like a young Javon. And that is Lex Custom International Scales. He's the guy who sent me these Adamas scales, titanium Cerakoted to put on, and a couple of other sets. One set that Jim is rocking on his scales down in South Alabama. And he's going to join us tonight and talk about, he's from Sweden, so it'll be about 3 or 4 o'clock a.m. when he jumps on their time. But just to talk about what they do, what they're using, what they're expanding into, because what I've noticed is they're adding a model here, a model there. They're slowly kind of stepping into the scale game. Something else I wanted to point out real quick. 3 feather EDC, not 3 feathers, but 3 feather EDC. We'll pull up their Instagram in a little while. This young man offered to send me a sheath, and this actually sheath is made for a mini harpoon, but it fits my little same size, fits my little lookout from Big Idea Design Company, my little USA made lookout perfectly. It's a pocket dropper. He makes them in all different styles, all different colors. This is one of the more kind of wild colors, so you can get more, brown, black, normal sheath, or you can get a rainbow sheath. But he does some really cool work. I haven't done an overview on this sheath any more than an unboxing, but I'm really, really pleased with it. I love the way it fits. A couple of knives that I like to carry. Aries EDC, what is up, my man? I love hearing that. I met him for the first time, and I've been extremely impressed with this little sheath that he made for the mini harpoon, but it fits perfectly my little lookout from Big Idea Design. And he's just a gentleman. He seems like a very very good guy, and I want people to know he exists and go to his Instagram. That's what I was going to do. Is I was going to share Lex's. Now, this is going to be our guest in a little while, who's going to come talk about some scales, interact with you guys, find out what I've told him. You know, it's hard, I guess, if you're a scale maker, if you know that people are making a lot of PM2 scales. Is that what you jump into? I would think so, just because so many people buy them, but I don't know. That's excellent, Aries. I've been tickled to death with 1931 Leatherworks, and he's doing all the ones for the fret. I've actually got 3 behind me because when the frets come, I'll do some photography with them, make a video or 2, and then send them to their home in a fresh sheath. So yeah, it's good sheath makers. I don't think there's ever a downside to having several choices to work with. I think the more the merrier, especially if they're nice guys and they offer unique goods, because everybody likes different stuff. Um, I know I like some weird stuff lately. So this, if you watch my video, I'm an idiot. So at first I was putting it on backwards. So the first, like, scan through the first 6, 7 minutes where I couldn't get it to go together, but it's modular design G10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back apart and I'm going to put one of the orange inserts in the center, but it's got a really unique, sharp, pokey stabby, interesting blade that cuts very well. Real thin liner lock, so it's very light, titanium liners. And again, they're a Canadian company that designs stuff. I don't know where all this stuff is made. I know it's made in various places. But that's kind of been my big surprise, is this little multi-tool that has a scalpel, a saw, a bolt opener, a 1/4 inch screwdriver holder, a little pry bar. Angry Tom's hat, what is up? Good to see you, brother. But just VG10. You know, I think these are on sale now. Their site is pichi.ca. We can go there right now. While we wait for some people to join us, let me pull it up, see if I can find it. Uh, yeah, that's it. So this is their site. And so I think it's just odd EDC gear, right? So let me share the link. If any of y'all can't get a good view, depending on what you're viewing from. But they've got little sliding EDC knives. They've got, this is that tool that I was showing you guys that has a bolt driver, a scalpel. And they've got a G9, which is this little really slick. I think it slides to the left and the right. Let's see. I think it's got a little warble to it instead of just sliding straight out. 3-stop mechanism, easy slide open. Here's a video. Here's a video. But they make all kinds of little rings, lanyards, lanyard beads, just that stuff. Like a gravity knife, maybe. Yeah, see, it's got a little slidey. Anyway, and then they've got, you go to like Camilla is that knife in all kinds of different trim levels. From G10 to Damascus. And I guess it's kind of made where you can modify it if you want to. And then I don't know. I couldn't figure out what the Kootenai was. It's a carabiner clip, but I don't know much about carabiner clips. Maybe, yeah, pocket. It's got a pocket clip, so you hang your keys on it and you drop it in your pocket. I guess it's one of those. Anyway, company I wasn't aware of, and they got stuff on sale. Some pins, some knives. And I'll do a review on that knife and give you my thoughts after I get it figured out. What is up, Rob's Nerdy Knives? Good to see you, Rob. Always a pleasure, my friend. Paul Mills, what is up? Good to see you, dude. Addicted to Blades, what is up? Donnie, I think I said hey to you earlier, brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Who else slipped in here when I was behind the curtain there? I saw Angry Tom. Good to see you, Angry Tom. I'll tell you again, and not to overly shill Kaiser, but this is another one of those Blade series that I will unbox tomorrow. And this is a very unique little collaboration. Can't really see it, but it's got Damascus, titanium, S45. It is called the Qual, but I can't remember who the designer is. It's a independent designer, kind of like when Maddie worked with them. It's a knife like that. Very unique, has a very nice finger choil. Thin, I'd call it gentleman's office type, pocket jewelry type of knife. If that's what you're into. But it's got a thumb disc, which I found kind of refreshing. I like a thumb disc. Reminds me of an Emerson, even though this knife is not much like an Emerson. Chill sound. Dude, if y'all had any idea how my last 72 hours, I had Richard and his lovely wife stop by and visited for right about a week. Everything was smooth sailing. They transitioned from here up to Montesano State Park about the time my dad started going through some weird shit. So he deals with dementia. So I've been up there. I've gotten very little sleep. Once I get him finally settled, or when his helper that comes up at 10 o'clock every morning would get there, I would come home and just pass out on the couch. And then inevitably she'd leave at 1. He'd be fine for a couple hours. Then he'd call and he needs something irrational. He has dementia, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but he was convinced he had this case that he was trying. He's been retired from practicing law for 40 years. But he was in a panic, and he needed to go here, he needed to go there, and it was just like talking him off a ledge each time. Because his helper, bless her heart, and the people who still work in the law office where he worked, same attorneys, is their children now, no dad, and let him come in there and let him go back to the research library if he wants to pull some notes or whatever. Just bizarre. She'll take him down there and let him just go through the motions. I'm like, Dad, it's Sunday. We're not going down there. Sorry. But yeah, it's definitely a different deal. I don't wish it on anybody. But so Kaiser had several unboxings. One of them was, I want to say this is called the Dodo. I thought this was a very cool little knife. It's a little gentle hawkbill, rich light handles. I think it's Nitro V. Somebody else's design. liner lock. And I guess the way that the clip's positioned, it makes it easy to pull that ring out of your pocket. So I guess if you knew what you were doing with a ring knife, which I don't, except it's just a big enough ring to where it feels comfortable in my hand, maybe I wouldn't drop it. And maybe just the fact that it's easier to pull out of your pocket. I would think this would have some good utilitarian type of uses. If you were cutting windowsills, doing God knows what else on a job site, this little knife would cope out some stuff pretty nicely. It's sharp, but yet it's got a little bit of thick grind at the tip. So it's a worker. And then this one, the one that caused all the grief the other night that I'm in the process of trying to buy one, guys. I do not have the money right up front. I wish I'd gotten it on pre-sale because it would have been about $50 less. But this is a very unique, to me, pleasing knife. And I agree, it's a little costly, but there's some milling things that drove cost, and there are definitely some production elements that drove a little bit of cost, and several years of R&D. Do I wish it was less? Yes. Do I think it's a really, really special knife? Yes. Have I reviewed it yet? No. Because I've still been running through the paces and trying to work out a sale / trade. So try figure out exactly how to do this. I want to cut a lot with it. It's super slicey. It's a deep hollow ground, about 3.9-inch Magna Cut blade, locked up rock solid. I think they call this the interlock system, which is like, it's not like a bar lock. It's got a single piece of steel, which I don't know if you can see there moving back and forth. I don't know if y'all can see down in there. So it's got that whole arm of steel that moves back and forth. It moves into the tang and moves out. And there's a coil spring, not an axis spring, that gives it really good detent. If you've got longer fingers, you can also pull that same mechanism back using these side springs. Does the same thing. I have better reach at that forward spring, but when you push the forward spring, it's got so much oomph to it, it'll kick it out at 90 degrees. It's got thumb studs, just immaculately done. I'm a fan. This knife was the subject of some controversy, and I totally get it. I mean, 100%. Got it so much that it made me ask additional questions. I was curious. Because all I want somebody to do is, break it down for me. Help me understand. Bear with me, guys. I'm back. I'm glad to be back. Absolutely. Too rich for my blood too, Richard. That's why I'm trying to put together a deal. I'm trying to put together a either a extended deal or more ideally let him find something that he likes that he wants to trade for. But we'll see. I do not want to send the knife back. I love it. Oh no. Lost in the mail, Tom, it could just be now that you put out the feelers looking for it. How long has it been lost? I had the longest mail trip I had was about 2.5 months. The only reason I say that is I've ordered hundreds of knives and I've never, knock on wood, had one stay lost. I've had them turn up missing. I've had them turn up in distribution centers, well out of their route. I have had one set of scales from Null Knives that did turn up lost and never showed up. But they were nice enough to replace them right away. Hopefully, it'll turn up. It'll just be late. It's a pain in the ass. Um, and what I always do, and I'm sure you've already done this, is get TPK, whoever the shipper was, to go into their shipping software and put in this package is lost or it's quit moving or whatever. And typically, when they instigate that search, I've noticed it gets the package moving again. 9 times out of 10, that's what's happened to me. Both when I've had a package that I've shipped stop moving and when I have had a package coming in stop moving. So yeah. Also been a big fan of the Kaiser slip joints because their action to me is very, very good. You can almost one hand it. I don't want to cut myself. But this is the trestle. I have a feeling one of these will be our tomorrow giveaway. Probably this one right here. This one's in what they call a stainless Damascus with a titanium handle and I don't know what type of wood that is, but that is a wood inlay. And it's got jimping right here in this little ricotta. So when you close this knife, it's not a full 90. It steps back a little bit. And because they say that is a safety feature. So if I've got this knife in my hand and it closes a little bit on me, it's not pushing the blade into my finger. And I can just move my finger out of the way and close it the rest of the way. But I've got that little guy. I've got this little guy that I really kind of like that's got the ghosts on it. It's the same knife, a Kaiser trestle. I think they released another slip joint recently, the same time in October. I've not experienced that one yet, but I love the shape of this one. This is the same shape as the one I just showed you. It's just in carbon or titanium bolsters with carbon fiber and some white G10. I think they missed an opportunity for some glow material back there to make those ghosts glow. And then the reason I'm giving one away is this is the one that I carry mostly. This is the trestle in the Blade Smith series. This is $150 knife, guys. I know that's a lot for a slip joint, but if you look at knives that are also slip joints that have fat carbon, titanium, DLC coated, S45, it's not hollow ground, but it's immaculately done for 150. I can get behind that. And it's the same, not quite 90 degrees because it's a safety feature, one-handed opening, and it comes with a slip for less than a lot of, and it actually looks and reminds me of a knife that costs much more than a slip joint. What is up, 1931 Leatherworks? The maker of all the fret sheaths. As a matter of fact, that's it. I've got several just cherry 1931 leatherwork sheaths that are made for frets that are waiting on the frets that look awesome. I thought I had them right behind me where I could grab them and show one, but I don't. And I don't have a fret here now that Richard's gone on and headed west, kind of not west, kind of east, northeast, on their wonderful journey through the mountains. The frets are out of my possession, so I can't even show one. I love that knife though, guys. I hope some of y'all get to hold one, get to check one out. Let me know what you think about it. Cliff, I think I said hello to you, buddy. I hope I did. Howdy, Sierra Rick. What's up? Oh, you just saying hey to everybody. I love it. I love it. That's what we're here for, guys. Y'all throw anything out there. Like I said, we'll have Lex coming on from Lex I'm assuming his name's Lex from Lex Custom International Scales. Um, Running some really, really nice scales for some really unique knives. I've actually had 3 knives that I owned that were I had aluminum scales on my ram lock, but these are titanium and they're ribbed where the others were nice. And I kept my aluminum scales too, but these are fantastic. They went on very well. The knife did come apart of me. I think it was the Benchmade. One of these knives, I think, no, I know which one it was. This was a bitch. This was a struggle bus video, and it was not any fault of the scales. It was me, my Benchmade tool. The one I have, unlike the one OCD for EDC makes, OCD for EDCs is 3D printed, and he makes it for all 4 different Benchmade pivot sizes. So the one I have from Pops has 2 sizes, and the larger size, is not large enough for this or the crooked river. So what happened is it pushed my pivot through fine, but when I came to push my pivot back onto the bar that was pushing through, holding my washers and my blade together, the diameter wasn't wide enough, so I had some slop in those washers, and the whole thing came apart. And I had to rebuild this. So if you want to see an Adamas built from the ground up, this is your 45-minute video you want to go watch. If you want to see a really couple of quick scale swaps, any of the others went very, very well. But contoured, very nice. I had AWT scales that I'd put on this, that I'd modded it from the original Benchmade scales originally. They were flat scales, very nice. They were sniper gray, but these just feel nice. And I think a lot of it is the Cerakote, because it makes it feel kind of soft in my hand, and the contouring. So we'll kind of find out what got him in this design direction and learn a little bit more about Lex Custom International Scales. I'm stoked about it. And I guess Blade Show West is going on. I haven't seen a lot of content from out there, but I know a lot of people are out there. What's up, Lucky Dog Knives? Andrew's in the house. Guys, if you're looking for a small pocket dropper fixed blade, Lucky Dog Knife Company is as good as it gets, in my opinion. My favorite is the 4 3/4 inch Bulldog, followed by the River Dog. I will, and I've talked to Andrew about this, I will buy a guard dog at some point because I think I'm ready for that shape. I think it's got a thin handle too, and it looks like just a slicer. So definitely check out Lucky Dog Knife Company, designed in America, handmade, custom in Canada by David Mary Customs. So definitely check out Lucky Dog. I know there's some happy customers in the chat that have picked up his knives. They're, again, a small handmade knife. As a matter of fact, I had one out, but I ran out of space. So here's the most recent. Again, this is one of those situations where I had a knife come in for review. I was going to review it and send it back. And I cut with it and realized that it was a little bit different blade geometry than my other favorite, my Ranch Dog, which is a spay blade. And so I went into buy trade mode, and we came up with a deal that worked where I was able to not send this back and came up with something that Andrew really wanted and some cash, and it just worked out well. So I love this little knife, the River Dog spear point, but very, very slicey, tall, flat grind, nice little EDC knife. It's ABL. You can also get it in 15N. This is the first Lucky Dog Knife Company knife that I bought. And this is one, again, I planned on reviewing and sending it back. I'm a micarta guy. I'm not as much of a wood handle guy, but when it came in, I fell in love with the workmanship. It's got this nice spade blade, hand jimping. This one's in 3V, full tang, right about 6 inches, maybe 5 3/4, but just a traditional knife, like what you picture a traditional slip joint, but made into a pocket dropping little fixed blade. I just love the design language of it. I just think they're great. And then the Bulldog, it's not in my back pocket, so I must have dropped it. It's dark. I don't know where I dropped that, but I did just hear my neck drop, so I'm gonna have to get my flashlight. There it is. I'll just tell you, a neck drop is worse than a mic drop. Neil McKenzie, dude, channel member and throwing in $2. Thank you, brother. Nick's gonna, y'all hold back. Shouldn't be too loud, but we're gonna do a little quick celebration here. Nick's kindness, and it starts with the man hug. It finishes with the jumping car because I'm just that fired up. I should have warned you that the car was a little loud. The reason that the car's loud is because it kind of wakes it back up. It used to be part of my Spider-Man 70s little action brakes, but those tended to go nowhere. One of the things that was in my Kaiser reviews that I thought was pretty cool. This is the little Beaver, a knife that's come out before. It was out in a drop point and still is available in a drop point where you've got a more, straight spine with the drop blade. But this one's kind of cool. This clip point has this harpoon built into it, and this is small but full-filling knife. This is the one that's in micarta with a G10 liner in AEBL. Nice, also available without a liner in a D2, which I think will make it, a couple of different price points there. But it's a small little chunky guy, right? So it's short but stout. And I'm a big fan of this new blade shape because my thumb rests perfectly right there. The finger guard or choil locks it in. Haven't put it through a lot of testing, just unboxed it today, or actually unboxed it yesterday, but it went up today. So I've not cut with it. I have cut with the original, but a cool little knife. And they made it available in a couple of different trim levels. And then one that was probably the biggest surprise. I might as well show that to you. They call it the Camp 180, but my dad's got an old bayonet, right? From World War II, USA Marines bayonet. This does not look like a Marines bayonet, but to me, it looks more like a trench knife or just a nice, beefy Marine blade than a camp knife, but it would make a great camp knife. So this is some type of stone-washed AEBL with a G10 handle. I'm going to take the handle apart to see what kind of tang we've got there because it looks like it's fully encased in that G10. But I bet you it runs the full length because it feels, when you look at the balance, when I put this right on my finger, I'm trying to get it where it doesn't. All right, one finger right behind the blade guard. It balances. So I'm thinking there's definitely weight back here. But I thought that was a cool knife. What do you guys think about that? This is one of the new Kaisers. This is the Kaiser Camp 180, Andrew. It's a bigger knife. It's a camp size knife. It's going to be 5.5-inch blade, right about a 10 1/4 inch overall knife. Um, but ABL blade that looks like you could just beat it through car doors. Again, I've just unboxed it, haven't really done a lot of testing, but I'm always impressed to see some of the new stuff that comes out. To me, it's like when that big Drop 7 came out. ZT206. I'm not that familiar with it, but guys, I've got some cool stuff going on in the periphery life of mine that's going to have me exposed to a lot of knives, hopefully. ZT's being one of those brands that has kind of been out of my wheelhouse that I should have access to quite a bit more. Yeah, Richard actually saw this knife. Richard got to experience the Camp 180 and actually all these knives because when he was visiting, we got to go through them. I couldn't show him on any kind of media, but I reviewed the unboxing. What, Richard, earlier last week, so that we could at least look at the knives. Um, and now they can be shown. So because they're available, I can understand. What's up, Fred the Lug? Welcome, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Hello, Fred. Everybody give Fred a hello. What's up, Sierra Rick? Giving Fred a hello. Nice. Fred the Lug's got one of the most wicked collections. I've had the pleasure of looking over several shoulders that were much um earlier. I came to the conversation late, so there were people already leaning in, oohing and awing when I missed out and was just able to pick up the glimmers of some fantastic bangers. But this little Kaiser 180, I'm thinking it's probably close to that $90 range. We could pull it up on Amazon on Kaiser site, but it's a beefy knife. I do want to take it apart. Maybe we can do that now. See what kind of tang we're. It's a Torx. Bear with me, kids. Looks like it's a T10. Shouldn't take us long at all to take it off. Um, I'm just curious, like I said, if it's full tang, which I'm sure it is, why they did it. I'm sure to keep the rust down. Let's see what we got here. It's unscrewing. Got a big long barrel. Bear with me, kids. I know this isn't captivating, but they're not making it easy for me to get my wow, that's interesting. They've got that back end. Kind of hammered in there. to where it doesn't want to knock out. Because I bet you if this back bolt would just come out, it just seems stuck in the handle, this blade would pull out. I bet you that's why I don't see a separation. Well, that's disappointing. Wasted all that time for that. So this one does not want to come out. Kind of BS. Y'all bear with me. It does not want to come out. Nope. I have a feeling that this is going to be a full tang, but it's going to be a thin tang. Do this. I should be able to pry that apart. Hold on, guys. I'm not giving up. I know this is just like riveting TV or whatever you want to call it. Oh well. The camp knife 180, I will put through torture tests. I will get some other tools, bang a 16 ping nail through there with the hammer and try to get it to loosen up. Shouldn't be that hard. Got little bits everywhere. I could, Richard, but I need with as much force as I was putting on it, I really need something to bang like on the other side of that pivot tool. I think it's either glued in or it's really Loctited in because this first one came in. This guy that's on the front, it's D-shaped, so you just find the way it goes through, and it slides right in like nobody's business. There's no Loctite on it. The other one, there's definitely something holding it on, holding it in. That knife is sweet. The heat tree's done right. I hope so, dude. Like I say, I want to just hit. I've got a tree, and Richard can attest to this, a big weed tree that fell out back that I could really take a chainsaw to, but it's also a good hacking tree. And I just like to make sure that the edge doesn't roll on them. I've got some hardwood out front too, just to test it out. I wish I used knives harder. And if I'm out camping, I'm not afraid to beat the heck out of a knife. The right knife. There's certain knives I'll baby. But usually I don't have them on a campsite. And there's certain knives like this that I want to use. I mean, I really want to see, I kind of want to stick it through an old, like maybe my car door before I get other ones on it and just see how that I think they call this finish something special on their materials, but that's a nice shaped knife in my opinion. For a Slurpee saver, a marine knife, a fighting knife, wear on the side of your belt. I didn't even adjust the full size tech lock that comes with it. Hey guys, we've got a guest. Everybody be on your best behavior. I'm going to take my knives off the screen and I'm going to bring up my buddy who I've not met yet, but we're getting ready to. His name is Alex, and he is from Lex Custom International. What is going on?
All right. Now I'm live. How are you?
We are doing good. What time is it? I just told these guys the dedication that you've put into making a visit here tonight or this morning.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. Saturday morning.
3 a.m. Saturday morning. It is 8:54 p.m. Friday night here. Some of the guys are in different time zones. But
Okay.
thank you for joining. Thank you for
Um,
joining.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
I love your scales, by the way.
Thank
Um,
you.
I love the consistency and that you're not starting with a lot of crazy patterns. You're keeping it very practical with what I consider these kind of ribbed, and the mini adamas are contoured. And I was telling these guys, these I'd modded this knife first, from the original Benchmade mini adama
Yeah.
scales to the AWT Sniper Gray, but they
Yeah.
were flat. They were very comfortable. I liked them. But the first thing I noticed when I got these in hand after rescaling them, and this video is a nightmare. That was my fault. Had nothing to do with the scales. It was my pivot tool trying to cut a corner. But the way these feel in hand are amazing. And I know milling at a contour is not as easy as milling flat.
It's interesting that you mentioned the contour on the scales because uh, the first model I made was for the bug out, and that those scales were very flat.
And they work
And
flat.
yeah, and it's nice EDC. It's nice if it's flat. It fits great in your pocket. But a contoured scale and contoured handle fits much better in the hand. And if you're really working with a knife, it doesn't hurt you, right?
Right, right.
So that is something that I'm trying to do on all my scales actually, to get them a little bit contoured, maybe cut off 45 angle on the edges and then stone wash it to get it smooth and round. So pretty much the bug out is the only scale that doesn't have the contoured feature in the profile.
And I was gonna say the bug out to me, because I've got some Metin Boss on one of my bug outs from a long time ago that are flat. My scales, I don't think I've ever had. I had a set of carbon fiber that I still have somewhere that were slightly contoured. But for me, certain knives I think should be more angular. And I think the
Yeah.
bug out's one of those that contouring's nice, but I like the flat because, like you said, for that pocket profile, for that drop it in and out of my pocket, even if I'm going to go cut hundreds of feet of cardboard with this, it doesn't feel hot. The corners are, whoops, nice and chamfered. It doesn't feel like there are no hot spots on any of your knives that I've experienced yet.
Yeah, well, for the bug out, it's a small knife. You don't do any heavy duty working with it. But there is another knife that have been working a little bit with the couple of few weeks, thinking about making scales for, and it's flat. It got kind of sharp edges, and I can really feel after just splinting wood for 5 minutes, it hurt my hands. So different knives needs different kind of design on the scales.
I agree, and
Yeah,
I
I
think
think.
it's important that you're looking at that and seeing that. That's kind of was my purpose of the mini Adamas was not uncomfortable with flat scales. I just feel it's so much better with the contoured scale, even the slightly contoured, because our hands are more contoured in all truth.
Yeah, it doesn't need much, just a little bit to get the feel. It doesn't need to look like rounded off or anything, but just a
Right,
little
right.
bit.
And
All right, so
go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead. I was just gonna
that's
say,
nice. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You go.
no, I don't own the automatic version of the Stitch, but I was watching a video of on your website where there's evidently, because it's an automatic, there was left some blade play in the original Stitch, and it looks like you, when you designed your scales, you compensated for that by looking at.
Yeah, We can talk a little bit about that. I've set up on my table here. I'm just going to change the camera angle a little bit. There we go. I'm prepared. I'm prepared. Let's see if we can get this
I can see them. I can make
moving.
you big too. So what I can do for the audience is I can make you.
Here we go. All right. All right. Okay. So let's take this in a chronological order so I can just tell you a little bit my story as well. How about that? Sounds
Perfect.
good? All right. So as you can see in the middle here, I have the bug out. And I think it's now about 2 years ago that I started this venture. And I started out with a bug out, of course, because the bug out was the knife that really got me into EDC and collecting knives, and really got into the design part of knives. But also because I really love being out in the wild with my roof tent and my Bronco, my dogs. So I really like to use my knife as well. Okay, so this was the first one that I made. It wasn't with this turtle design. I made kind of a refreshment of the Magpul design, like the Magpul magazines for AR-15s. They got this square pattern, and I only made 50 of them, I think, just to try everything out. And I sold about maybe 25, and I got 25 left. And then I was contacted by a European retailer, and he asked me if I want to go wholesale. And I haven't really thought about it, but it's kind of, well, why not? So what are you thinking? Oh, I'm going to clear your stock. What do you have left? So I sold him the last 25, and I was like, okay, what I'm going to do next? So a lot of people recognize this pattern, right? Do you recognize it, John?
I absolutely do. I mean, it looks
Yeah,
very familiar to me.
yeah. So about 10 years ago, something 12 years ago, there's a guy called Shurogov. He's not with us anymore. He made a custom knife with a very much alike this
Shiro,
turtle design. Shurogov, yeah.
Paul Mills asked a question earlier in the chat. I don't know if you saw it. Asked if it was
No.
inspired. So I'm glad you're getting to that. I was looking for Paul's initial question, but go ahead. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but finish that story.
Okay, so for me, I got really inspired. His design is very sharp, very square, but still, I like the kind of symmetrical chaos in this design.
Correct.
It's still in order, but everything is just all the angles in the pattern is all over the place. But if you really look at it, every part is lining up in its own way with the one next to it somehow.
Correct. You got
And
order within that chaos if you
yeah,
look at it close enough.
and really, it's not just a turtle pattern. It really needs to sit well with the outer line shape of the knife. So it's really difficult to design this pattern for each knife. So I started from the top, I think, first, and I worked my way down. And then after a while, I just got stuck because I couldn't get this one to match up with this one. I was like, oh shit. Uh, okay, let's erase everything. And I start from the other side and I work myself up. And if you come to the end and everything just falls into place, you're done, really, basically. So and sometimes it's just really hard, so I just leave it alone for a week or two and just start over. Because if it's not perfect, it ain't perfect, and if it's not perfect, why bother? You know.
Right,
So
right. Well, if you're going for that pattern, it seems like it's almost like you said, putting it down with a fresh set of eyes coming back, working it from the other end, you were able to remedy that.
yeah, yeah.
But what else were you able to change in your mind through that process? Because you were coming at it from a different side.
Well, you need to start with the first one and you get the angle going like it fits with this part here, and then you go here and you're like, oh shit, it's a screw there. How do I handle that? Oh, this doesn't work. I need to start over. And then I got another angle here that I can start working with. So, it's a creative process. And if it doesn't feel right somewhere, you need to start over, because if you put hours into it and you're not happy with it, it's just waste of time. So,
I love
and
that that not being willing to settle. If you're going to put the
no,
time in, make it the way you envision it.
yeah. So anyway, so this was the first design. It's flat. It's got a little sharper edges in the pattern, and I think I made 100 of these, and I started selling these at my Etsy shop, and I found out that this was very fun. It was very creative process, and it's like I really love knives. I'm using them a lot, so I'm gonna keep going doing this. So I just browsed around a little bit. I like Benchmade, so I found this one, the Mini Adamas.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect candidate.
And I read about it, and everybody was saying like it was designed and built like a tank. You may say overbuild, and it's like, oh, that fits me perfect, because I need a knife that I can use when I'm out camping and splintering firewood and stuff like that. So I got it. I got two of them, and I tested it out. I beat the crap out of it, and I'm sorry to say, but the inner liners and the bottom lock didn't hold up. But still, if you don't misuse the knife, it's a great camping knife.
Did they live up to their warranty claim with you where you are?
No, I didn't even go there, because I knew that I didn't treat the knife with
I thought it
proper
was a no
respect.
question ask warranty.
Uh, I don't know.
I think
I
that's
haven't
part of I
looked
think
into
that's
it.
part of buying from Benchmade.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yep. So if you
But
still got that, and talk to me after the stream.
okay, we can do that. I don't think I still have it. I think I just fixed it up and gave it to my brother or something.
Hey,
Uh,
Bluminati, this is Lex Custom International Scales over at Sweden. It's probably 3:30 his time now, AM on Saturday morning, and he's talking about his custom scales that he makes over there. Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
all right. All right. So okay. So I really love the knife, but I really hated the G10 scales with three holes in it. I feel like, okay, it's a good way to lose weight on the knife, because from the out of the box it weighs a lot, but it's a working tool, so the weight doesn't really matter on this one. So I felt like this knife would look great with my scales on it. So this was the second knife that I made them for, and it came out perfect. The pattern, the shape of the actual handle was just perfect to make this what do we call it? Symmetric chaos.
Yes, I would call it
So
a very organized or a functional chaos.
yeah, and with some titanium on it, it gained a little more weight, and it actually feels a lot better in the hand right now.
In your
So
balance, the way you've milled the internals of these, I've noticed you've paid attention to the balance of the overall knife, because the
yeah,
Deca felt equally balanced to the mini Adonis, felt
yeah,
equally balanced to the stitch. And when I was looking at the scales, you can tell you're taking that into consideration when you're removing material.
yeah. First, when I make my first prototype, it's like, okay, what does my stomach tell me? Do I need to do any weight reduction milling or not? If I think I do it, and I try it out. It's like, I could use some more weight, and then I'd make a prototype without the weight reduction milling on it. So actually, pretty much all these knives weighs a bit more than a usually DC knife out of the box. So pretty much all the knives except for the mini Adamas, the Benchmade bug out, and the Deca has the weight reduction milling because uh, they didn't really need it.
I can't speak
Yeah.
for everyone, but when I feel a knife like the pitch, when I went from my aluminum scales to your titanium scales, it feels, maybe it's heavy to some people. To me, it's not. It feels more substantial. It feels like it should. I think on certain knives, I even say with the Benchmade Mini Adamas, it feels more substantial. It feels more rugged. So I like that added weight because it's not night and day in weight. You can just feel the added mass the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think so too. The titanium doesn't make anything like too heavy, but it gives this extra balance, this extra weight to give you the feel of a tool and to get it a little bit more balanced, especially when it comes to automatic knives. Let's just look at this real quick. When I got my first auto stitch and I deployed it, it's kind of jumping out of my hand really because the spring is very strong, the action is so fast, and when I tested out the first prototype for this, it changed the game dramatically. It's like it got more balanced, and it kind of the extra weight kind of reduced the recoil when you deploy it. And let's be honest, this is a big knife. This is a kind of a tactical,
That is a
you know,
sexy knife, though, and
yeah,
it's so sharp, and it's good for so many other things besides just tactical.
yeah. And this size of a knife needs a little more weight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it balances out the thunk of that spring. It gives you
Yeah,
more to hold on to.
it's still, did you see this? It just
Oh,
jumped out of my hand a little bit.
yeah.
But I just love it. Let's go back to the stitch later on. We made it mini Adamas, and it got really popular. So I made a very big batch, and they come in various different Cerakote finishes and stone washed and so on. And yeah, so these two actually are EOL right now, so they are on sale in my Etsy shop. And also I have triggered Blade HQ and Knife Center to put them on sale, just to make room for new vendors and new stuff.
And I'm so glad that you got those relationships. We always tell our buddies in the chat, it's always so great if you can put someone who's looking for scales with somebody like you, Lex, who can sell them and you don't have to pay that extra margin to Blade. I mean, it just is a better deal straight across. I think if we can put the person that's making the scales with the person buying them, that's what's a win for me.
Yeah, and it's fun. With my own Etsy shop, I really get close to my end users and customers. I get feedback, I get reviews, I get strange questions, good questions. I get it's so much fun to actually interact with end user. If I would only work with retailers, I would lose that.
And you
And
probably get some good ideas in terms of what maybe to add to your next knife based on the demand of the questions that you're getting.
yeah, a lot of the questions is regarding Spyderco. Oh, Alex, can you make the Spyderco scales? Oh, if you make these for the Manix 2, you will sell a bunch of it, and So I try to explain, and I can do it here. Uh, when it comes to the creative part, I need a knife that I like. I like the design. I like, if I like the blade shape or the internals or whatever. I need something that I like that I can, start working with. And the problem for me with Spyderco is I don't really like, the main shape of the whole concept. Spyderco has their own style when it comes to the blade and the handles, and it doesn't really do it for me. So I'm sorry, guys, but I don't think I will ever do a Spyderco scales.
But hey, I was wondering the same exact thing because I didn't know if it was because maybe the market was oversaturated, but I think that's the most honest answer. If it doesn't inspire you, why take the time? I think that's
Yeah,
great.
you
Because we all
know,
know plenty of people to get spider coat scales from.
yeah, and it's not. I'm not doing this mainly for the money. It would be great if I can live on it in the future, but for me right now, it's the creative part of it, and it's really fulfilling when people come back to me and, hey, Alex, I love what you do. I really love the scales that you made. I got it for this night and this night, and that just makes my day. So that's probably why I'm doing this, except for, of course, all these nights are my users. So I really like using that. And, we have a law in Sweden. You can't carry anything in your pocket. So the EDC market is it's quite small in Sweden. So that's why I'm out in the woods all the time, so I can carry my knives, right?
Right, right. So I guess if you're not within the city limits, do you have more flexibility, or is it just because you don't come into contact with the what do y'all call your law enforcement over there?
The police, we call it as police, yeah. Yeah, you need to have a purpose for bringing your knife.
So feather sticking, for example, out in the woods, or carving, whittling.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, or camping, Okay, let's should we go on?
Yeah, let's keep going.
I put this up. It's my third knife, and it was like, okay, I love the bug out. I love the mini Adamas, and I just browsing around, and I found the whole Deca V2, and I was like, I really love that shape on that Warncliffe
I
blade.
love it. I've got the V1.
Yeah, this is amazing, and I think this one came with a Magna Cut. Yeah,
I think
the
it's a better
Magna Cut
value.
steel.
I thought it was a
Yeah,
better value altogether than a bug out. If you,
yeah, and it's like $140 or something. It was kind of a really good bargain for. I got it, and I was like, right out from the box. I love the internal. It was stainless steel liners, the Magna Cut blade. I like the design of the axis button here. What do you call it?
they're much more
And
beefy. The bar lock to get
yeah,
hold of. I think I forget what Pogue calls it. They might call it the Axis.
yeah, bar lock. I think they call it the bar lock, the axis lock it for the Benchmade. Yeah. Okay, so I really love everything except for the scales and the poor execution of the total knife, because they really put in a lot of thought in what kind of steel, the design of the blade, the design shape of the handles, the internal, and then it feels like the designer just gave up and put some cheap shit scales on it. Of course, you can buy these with carbon fiber, and but mostly, uh,
FRN,
sorry,
the FRN or the plasticky scales or the G10.
uh, I don't know if they come
Mine
in
came with
G10, did it?
FRN. Yeah, mine came
Yeah,
with plastic.
yeah. So I think most it's plastic, and they sold a bunch of it like a cheap EDC, but it's nothing cheap with this design. It's nothing cheap with this kind of blade. So I just figured, well, if I can make some good scales for it, this will bump up from a cheap knife to a premium segment knife. So I did it, and it turned out great. This is I would prefer this knife over the bug out every day of the week.
I agree. I agree. I've got the drop point version of that too. I've got two
Yeah,
deck of V1s.
that's great. And I actually thinking about maybe I just should get two or three more of this to save. uh, just to have them. I would like one with a black finished blade on it, actually.
And Cerakote the scales black, and it can just be nightmared out.
Yeah, yeah,
The hardware
yeah,
comes black, and you can pick them up for I don't know how what the shipping is, but I think 120. When you sent me that set to use, luckily I have a subscriber, Jim Miller. I don't think he's in the chat tonight, but he had a Deca V2, and
yeah.
it had the G Mask scales on it. And I set it up and said, if he'd let me film a scale video on it, I'd send him a surprise, which was the scales. And he got it back. He said it does not even feel like the same knife.
No,
I mean,
it just it just runs away from the bug out. You know this. What does this go for today?
they're
Like,
close to 200 at least. I think you can get them for like the S30 for about 185 US.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's you can pick that up for 125 US, 135 maybe.
the Deca.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the Deca you're getting in MagnaCut, the base model bug out you're getting in S20.
Okay. Okay. So
You're getting
this
better
will
play
actually
steel
be,
in the
yeah.
Deca. I think your axis lock or your clutch lock, bar lock, whatever you want to call it, is done better in the Deca. And I think the overall knife is refined more so than the bug out.
Yeah. So this would be a very, very highly recommendation from my side. Get a Deca V2 for 120 bucks and upgrade it with my scales, and you got a premium knife there.
Gorgeous.
And as you can see, if I can get the camera angle going, you can see they are a bit contoured. Yeah, you can see that they are a bit contoured, not much, but just a little bit. And I got a 45 angle here around the edges, and they're all stone washed, so there are no sharp edges or anything, and no blade play whatsoever. So
Richard, you
and
saw the Deca that I sent to Jim, didn't you? You were here visiting, I think, when I did that. And guys, I've got a video on each of these knives that I've been able to put scales on, except for the amphibian and the ones I don't have. But the scale swaps not only went well, they fit perfectly. That's what I wanted Lex to tell us here in a little while, is how he goes from a design to actually making the scales and getting them to be so, the tolerances to be so tight and right.
yeah, for me, it's like when I was young, I used to do a lot of airsofting, and we always bought this stuff from China, and nothing ever fits. You need to you need to customize every part to fit your rifle. And I was like, what's going on in this industry? You know, the end user accepting this, it's crazy. You know, if I buy something for 100 bucks, I want it to like fit, like being a good product.
Correct.
So for me, it has never been a question. You know. Oh, hello. My little puppy came out here.
No harm, no
So
foul.
so, and you know, it's a work in progress. You do the drawing, you make the first prototype. Usually it fits kind of, but there's always something you can kind of perfect. If I do a little bit this, it would be easier and so on. But still, it's all about what kind of CNC machinery you have and what kind of tolerances you can set.
Right.
But still, it kind of it takes maybe 3 or 4 prototypes before every detail is in place. Uh, and my end goal always is to release a product that needs no fitment issues with the customer, no dremeling, no customization. They should fit, because you know I don't want to take your hard-earned money and put you at your desk with your fucking Dremel and tools and everything just to make
No,
the
nobody.
things fit. I hate that.
And one of the things I know was a pain for a lot of the scale guys was when the Microtechs first came out, the MSIs, they changed something on those early on from the first drawings that they shared or were obtained to the second. And I think you kind of, as a designer, you've got to know the companies that you're working with and how often they make little modifications and things that your generation might be a little bit different than. Um,
Yeah, yeah, the MSI. I get a lot of questions. Oh, I got this MSI. Will your scales fit? And from the former generation to this one, the changes are very profound when it comes to the screws. So it's really easy to see which generation it is.
right.
And so here you got all the screws showing, and you don't have that on the second generation. And it would be fun, kind of making scales for lost generations, if you can say that. But it's still also kind of a business-wise decision.
Exactly. Are people
Uh,
going to even be in the market or have those knives that they're still paying attention to instead of just selling them as an original?
Yeah, but still, it's like I need to think about how many can I sell because let's be honest, my end game is to go all in and work with this full time. So I will really need to pay attention to what kind of scales do the people want and how can I keep this going. If I make scales for an old generation, maybe I can sell it to a few, but there's not coming out any more of the V2 generation. So how would that progress going?
You've gotta,
Kind of.
yeah, you've gotta kind of have that forward thinking
Yeah,
idea.
always.
And, I know Demcos are scaled a lot. I'm thinking of the knives that I've modded. Of course, Spydercos. I put scales on some of the more random Spydercos, like the little native, uh, a couple of others. And I know that again, those are more niche. You don't have a ton of people that own those. But the trick
No.
is finding what I think you've got is a quality scale made very well that is unique yet similar in its overall design, what we'll call organized chaos or ergonomical chaos. Um, and you can translate that to models that people will be rescaling. You see a lot of this now,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it makes sense in the price point that you sell, but I see it a lot in original goat, where they'll make for some of the more lower price models, which kind of don't make that much sense for me, like the Kaisers and the Civivi, some of their more popular models like the FG Vision, the Vision FG. Are
yeah.
you familiar with that knife?
No,
It started with let me see if I can show you a picture of it. It started with speed holes in it. It was the Wii made one too. I'll show you the Wii Vision FG. Make you small for just a second. That'd be easier. So the Wii is this Snex design knife, and see how it's got speed holes in it.
yeah.
The Civivi had the same speed holes, but it was a $79 knife, and they started making titanium scales for this knife because they were solid. And keep in mind the Wii didn't have or the Civivi didn't have the titanium where the Wii does.
Okay.
So people buy them, but the scales cost more than the knife. So to me,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's a great knife, but it's a unicorn type of knife. I can't think of a lot of knives making sense.
But
Um,
it's a bit different. I think the original goat guy, I don't know his name, but I think he made them on orders. So if you get an order, he makes it. and that's kind of cool because that's really custom, and he can have a bunch of different designs there because he doesn't have any stock value.
I love those guys to death, but you wait a while, Alex, for those custom orders. Like
Sorry.
you wait quite a while.
Yeah,
My experience has been, I could have waited for 2 knives.
really.
Yeah, but I mean, they're a small company. I knew that going
Yeah,
in because I did some things like I sent them my Deca V1s to template out because they had requests for them when the Deca V2 first came out. Because the Deca
yeah.
V1s at the time, I think, were selling in 20 CV for $99, where you
Oh,
could buy a Deca V1 because the Deca V2s had come out for about $99, and people wanted to rescale them. But at the same time, I ordered some for AD 15. And from one blade show to the next is about how it was about a year turnaround time.
oh. Okay, okay. Well, I would say I we can go over that as well. I have the question how I can make these scales for such a affordable price.
I'm making you big again so we can see it.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, I don't make them on orders. I make batches, and that's how I can, press the price down because it's like I think like $200 for a titanium set of scales. That is that's over the top. I want to be around that 140, 150, and of course, it's depending on the knife as well.
Sure.
Like for the Deca V2, the knife costs 140. If you really know that, okay, a nice titanium scale will make this a premium knife, then 160, 180 wouldn't be that much. But you wouldn't know that before you put them on. So for 130, 140 bucks knife, I would say 120, that's top.
Right.
But for this one, when this came out, it was like 240, right? Somewhere 240 bucks. So another 140 is not that much. If you want to really pimp it up a bit with titanium, and let's face it, titanium is titanium. It's an expensive material. Uh,
Absolutely. And you're
but
Cerakoting it on top of that.
sorry.
You're Cerakoting on top of that.
Yeah, on top of that, I Cerakote it, and we can touch that a little bit. That's how I actually started out. I'm coming from the IT business. I had my own company for many years, and I was just so tired of everything. And I went to my part owners, and I just told them, "I'm done. You have to buy me out. I'm doing something else." So I just started from the beginning, from the bottom, and got my certification from Cerakote. And I started up my own Cerakote business here in Stockholm, Sweden, mostly Cerakoting in the motor industry, motorsports, sport shooters, hunters, their weapons and stuff like that. And I just felt, oh, what else can I do in my workshop? So cool. And that started with a Benchmade bug out.
Just
And
Cerakoting the bug out, or did you make the scales for that same bug out?
I made the scales and I was like, okay, if I make the scales, I can Cerakote it, and then it's like 2 and 2 is 2 plus 2 is 5. Because I already had the workshop for Cerakoting, and my workshop is in an industrial area, and you got everything there. CNC machinery factories, you got everything, and everybody knows everybody. So it's really fun creating your own stuff. And let's go back to I make batches. So sometimes I get questions about custom orders. Oh, can you change that, or can you CNC that? And I'm sorry, guys. I need to press the prices down to be able to get these to you guys for a reasonable price. So my batches is I make 100 sets every batch I do. Sometimes 200, and sometimes 150 actually. It depends on if I'm restocking or if it's a new model or something like that.
So, Alex,
Yeah.
you said you do have dealers that you sell those through, but when you talk about that many sets, is the majority of that running through your Etsy store?
I would say 50-50.
Okay, okay.
I would say 50-50, 50% sells directly through my store and 50% goes out to retailers. And oh man, that was I really, really chased them down. Knife Center and Bait HQ. I was on them, and I worked like for 6 months to get my stuff into the stores.
Well, it's so any of those guys, the fact that you were able to, they realize the quality of what you are offering and the value. Paul Mills is asking a question, and I think he's trying to get the grade of titanium you use.
Uh, it's a grade 2. We have 5 different classes of titanium. Mostly what people use is grade 1 and grade 2. They are let's say, the cheaper ones. If you're gonna kind of purpose design something for aircrafts or something like that, you will go up to maybe grade 4, grade 5, and that's really expensive. When you go up in grades, the titanium gets a lot more harder, a lot more tougher, but the corrosion resistance is not. It's still a great material as it comes to corrosion resists, but you get better corrosion resistance on a softer titanium. And it's like I'm making scales, so we don't really need grade 5 or grade 4. So it's better to take the more common type of titanium. And I can see that 6AL4V, it's a very common, I think it's a grade 2, grade 3 titanium.
And
Correct me
again,
if I'm wrong.
that's great to know, because if you're trying to keep your costs down and still get a product that performs, I'm sure also the Cerakote finish is something that's going to make more sense to use that grade 2 or grade 1, because you're coating it in that instead of just hand finishing it.
Yeah, I'm really right now. I have this wish of actually designing the whole knife and release the Lex Custom International knife, and I'm really studying the different steel materials right now: carbon steel, stainless steel, the different alloys, and it's like, as you say, if I get a steel that is very corrosion resistant, then it's very hard and might crack. If I get a softer one, it doesn't have the same edge retention, and it's not that corrosion resistant. But as you say, if I put Cerakote on the blade, I can get away with getting a softer steel. I can get it sharper. It's like science, and I don't know if I'm gonna go there, if I'm gonna go there. And
Well,
when I talk to
great-
people, everybody says that the Magna Cut steel, they got the right proportions of everything, but it's so expensive.
when my live stream partner Kyle Coonley, who can jump on anytime, jumps on here, he and a couple of the other guys that I learned from are professional sharpeners, and they're the guys that can talk about steel per use case. What's overkill, what's underkill.
Mhm.
And no, because I know a couple of the guys that are working on knives, building knives in the middle of a knife making business, but there's so many different trains of thought. And I think they look at what is the best steel to offer when you get into offering a full knife for the use case intended. You don't want to necessarily skimp there because your cost is not going to vary that much, even though sometimes it's thought of to be more expensive because you see it retailed at different prices. Where if you look at the actual materials, your price points aren't that varying. So there's a lot to consider there. It's scary to look at just what the market's reacting to, but a lot of times that's what powers a lot of these custom makers and these other makers in determining what steel they use. That I've found out from asking them is that's what people were buying. That's what the market was asking for.
Yeah, and another thing regarding
you have a great price point. I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just trying to stay up with the comments. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. So when it comes to steel, I would say this one is really hard to resharpen with the magnet cut steel, and this one with what is it? S30V. Yeah, it's really easy to keep sharp. So that's something also that I'm thinking about. I would like people to have the opportunity just to use a simple grinding stone out in the woods and just sharpen it up real quick. You can't do that with magnet cut. You need real tools for it.
Alex, I want to introduce you to Kyle Coonley. He's the sharpening board and the keyboard up to our top right.
Awesome.
And he's
awesome. Nice to meet you.
How are we doing, Alex?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
And there's a lot of validity to, do you want it to be easy to sharpen, or do you want your customer to not have to worry about sharpening? So there's two, you can look at it both ways. And I know a lot of outdoor bushcraft, harder use, are looking for that ease of sharpening in the field. I think what's come along is with the science of metallurgy and the way that people have been testing knives, that you really can, if you know what your knife's going to be used for, you can settle for very little and come up with a good balance that gives your customer the best value, and not change your pro forma to go to market at all.
So my philosophy on that, Alex, is your best case scenario is to figure out what the tool is designed for. Pick the steel accordingly to how you want the tool to be used, then give it the optimal heat treat, and then use the geometry to affect how slicey or how cutty it is. If you go reverse and you start picking based on easy of sharpness, you pick based on if you want the HRC to be lower, to be tougher, you're giving up attributes that the steel possibly could have. By taking a steel that can run high hardness to get edge retention doesn't mean that you're always going to lose toughness. It depends on the steel. So you have to pick your battles and figure out where you want things to adjust and adjust your geometry accordingly. So if you're using a bushcraft knife, then obviously your geometry is going to be a little bit thicker because you're probably going to be batoning with it. You can get very, very high HRC steels that will perform admirably in that with thicker geometry. So you don't have to settle for something that, old fashioned where it's a soft HRC and something you can, tune up on a stone, because then you can have, a high HRC, something that's going to last you a while, that you don't have to sharpen when you're in the field. You can sharpen it once you get home, if need be.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, Alex, is when you get to that place, you'll find that there are a lot of people that are very willing to, share what they found out in their journey. That I know from my buddy, Edgy American Blades, Shane, who makes knives. He's gotten some information from some premier makers who he didn't think he'd get the time of day from, who spent a couple of hours with him to make sure once he dialed in the recipe, it was going to perform for him consistently every time.
That's one thing I've learned about when I started making scales. That I just love the community, the knife community. Everybody is like sharing information, sharing knowledge, and everybody got the same mindset somehow. It's really great actually to integrate with customers and with other knife makers and so on. So I've only been doing this for, I think it's about 18 months now, 18, 24 months making
Your
scales.
work is exceptional. I mean, the interior,
Thank
which you
you.
can see on my videos, are they're done exceptionally well. And like I say, I guess you start with the basic knife and you look at the knife because you're keeping the exterior patterns the same, right? In terms of the
Yeah, it's like when a designer makes a knife, he put a lot of thought into the external, like the edge, the external shape of the handle and so on. And I don't want to change that too much, because if I like the knife, I like the shape. I just want to kind of give it this extra with contoured scales and a little bit more weight. So I don't. I've seen other brands doing uh, like a whole different knife when you put their scales on it. Not just the feel or the texture or the pattern. The outer shape of the handle is completely changed. And it's like when I make these, I don't want to make a new knife. I just want to, give the existing knife something extra. Maybe make it a little better when you work with it or feel better, but I don't want to change too much.
Right, right. And I can respect that. I mean, I think that's kind of along the same lines of the Spyderco marketabilities there. But if you're not inspired by the design, you would just kind of be going through the paces. So
Yeah.
you're giving up that opportunity because you're not motivated by inspiration. Um,
Actually, the only scale that I made a change to when it comes to the shape is the amphibian. That's the only one. As you can see, I cut it off right here.
Let me make you bigger just for a second.
So the amphibian, let's see if I can get a pen here. The amphibian, the original one, goes down here and then goes up. And I felt like, why not make this line up with the blade? Because actually, it's a really big knife, so you can, even if you have big hands, you can get your whole hand onto this handle.
Oh yes, I mean that's
So I just cut that piece off in the design, and I moved the clip a little bit more down to make it fit. And that's the only scale that I actually done anything with the original shape.
but it sounds like it was well thought out based on something that you felt it needed. How did I make that happen? Hold on.
Yeah, I just like when I got the knife first, it just like something doesn't really look right here. I need this line to line up somehow. So well, okay, so this is my fourth design, and we talked about timing. Uh, this was a great timing. The MSI
I think so.
version 3, and they only got what was it, plastic and G10 scales for it.
And they're very sharp. They're very uncomfortable. The
Yeah,
plastic are.
and boom, I released. So this design was the design that put me on the map actually, and got me into Blade HQ and Knife Center, and actually gave me a
Very
chance
popular seller for
to
you.
sorry.
They've been a very popular seller for you.
Yeah, really popular seller.
You know that mini's going to drop any day, and I don't know what scales it's going to come with standard. It may have an upgraded scale. That may
Well,
be a quick opportunity for you.
I think the first they released it on some Blade show last week. The Marathon Select one cost
Right.
$1,400 or something like that.
Correct. Right. It was
So
bougied out.
yeah, and I've just seen pictures and some videos on it, and I just love it because this is a great knife, but still, it's a big knife. It's a hard use knife. It's not really something you maybe have in your pocket every day going around. So the mini would be, I think it would be a hot sell.
And it's
It
not going to
looks
be
great.
small. I mean, it feels like a medium-sized knife. At least it looks it in the pictures. And I think
Yeah,
they're going to bring it down to that FRN G10 basic price to get the price down, where your scales would be a perfect match.
yeah. So actually, I'm waiting for the production knife coming out with a G10 or something like that to get a few and start working for the TI scales for it.
Do you have your eye on the next design, or are you just working to fulfill what you're working with currently?
Actually, I have my next stop on the side here. I just want to go through what I've done so far. So the
Yeah,
next up, and
absolutely.
I made a Ramlock MSI, so why not do the stitch? So I made a stitch as well, and these are selling really good as well. And these are milled down in the back to reduce weight because I tried to do them with no milling in the back, but they got really too heavy. It's a big knife. It's heavy from the start, so that little extra, it's okay. Uh, so the stitch ramlock. So when I did the MSI, the stitch, why not do the amphibian? I did amphibian because I just want to have all three in my assortment. But the amphibian doesn't sell quite as much as the stitch and the MSI. I think it's a very purpose built knife, I think.
Very much. And it's one that somebody like me, it doesn't attract my attention. The MSI did, but when I handled it, my buddy bought it, and the comfort thing was a problem that the stitch did not present those same hot spots. And the stitch is probably the least usable of the knives, but I love the profile of it. I've
Yeah.
always thought it was sexy. And I think it's cool that you attacked the automatic stitch too.
Yeah, I think I was like, okay, I've done all the ramlocks. I need to challenge myself to make my scales for the auto stitch, and oh boy, this was a challenge because I got two of them at first. Both of them got blade play, side to side blade play, and I was like, okay, I got two of them with blade play. Let's get a third. So I bought a third, and it got blade play as well. And I just starting to remember when I was airsofting, buying stuff from China that didn't fit, and the whole industry was fine with that. We just fixed a little that, trim a little there, and got it to fit. And I was like, okay, this knife has been out for a while now. All three of my knives got blade play. Maybe that's something that people can accept. I cannot. So how do I address this? So I took it apart, and actually I was dumb on me. Maybe I should done more research, but I found out that there are no washers, there are no ball bearings, there is nothing there to pick up if there is some extra room. So I just figured, okay, you need to have some microns extra there to actually make it work. Uh, okay, so can I find a sweet spot? Can I tighten the pivot here to get rid of that blade play? And the answer is not, because the side with the actual pivot axle doesn't go all the way through the other side of the scale because there is a notch to stop it from going through.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so the room that you have between the scales is a room that you need to fill up with the blade or with the coating. So how do I fix this? How does Microtech handle this? And the thing is that I think the original scales are hard anodized, and hard anodizing builds up roughly around 25 microns, and that is roughly where I want to get with Cerakote. So what if I put 30 microns on there? Will that fill up that extra space? So I made a lot of testing on how to code it to get the extra microns on there to be able to get rid of the blade play and actually make some room, just a few microns that gives me the chance to find the sweet spot.
So you're just focusing that around the pivot area, around the front part of the blade.
Yeah. So, and I cannot go around with a micron meter and test everything because they have also some wide tolerances. So it's all about trying to get the feel for how much coating you put on.
Correct.
And so I dialed it down and I made it so that you could actually put them on. And if you feel like the action is too dull, too slow, you can actually polish down the Cerakote with some Scotch Brite. So I made a few tested. I assembled some without polishing. I assembled them with polishing. And still, if you polish Cerakote with Scotch Brite, it gets really slippery. You take away friction. So it's really, really great coating to work with. Yeah, I managed to make a great scale for the auto stitch, and I'm actually waiting for the next generation of auto stitch with ball bearings or something like that.
So you're saying that has no washer? It's just blade to scale contact? I didn't know that. Are a lot of automatics done that way?
So, sorry, did you ask me something?
No, I said, is that common with automatics in general, or is that just a Microtech thing?
No. This is the first time. Okay, I've just been doing this for 2 years, but still, I have other automatics here, and this is the first time I've seen it. And engineering-wise, I would never design something without washers or ball bearings or something like that, just because it's too hard to dial in the tolerances when it comes to a production knife.
Correct.
If you like making this for custom orders in your own workshop, then you have the opportunity to tweak a little there, fix a little here to make everything work perfectly. But when it comes to a production knife, there are too wide tolerances in the machinery when they configure everything and so on. So the risk is very high that the parts doesn't really fit perfectly because there are so many moving parts here. And if you're 25 microns off, you will get blade play. And 25 microns, that's nothing, but still it's too much. So so I made it for the auto stitch. And what I like about titanium scales for the auto stitch is that it reduces the recoil when I mentioned that before. You get a kind of you get another sound when you hear it, when you deploy it.
It's just got a thud. I mean, that's just a funky thud.
Yeah, it's more like a tank. Oh, there we go. Give me a minute.
That's okay. Kyle, you got any questions?
No, sorry. I was doing other stuff while you guys were talking. What's going on?
Oh, man, just living the dream, trying to come out of the groggies. I've had the groggies the last 2 days. It's been hardcore.
Yeah. We got Alex. Mooses.
What kind of puppy was that?
This is his 6 months. I got an older one as well. It's 18 months, and they are Finnish Finnish. What do you call those dogs that keeps sheep in check?
Uh,
That you use for running cows and sheep and stuff like that.
like a Australian Shepherd,
Yeah, it's kind of
a
the
working
same-
dog.
A working dog. Yeah, I got two of them.
They're so smart.
Yeah. Where were we?
Oh, you were just finishing up talking about the automatic stitch and the challenges of not having the washers or the ball bearings.
Yeah, I think it's strange that they didn't design it with something, you know. But still, I love the knife. I love the design of it. It's not a user for me, really. I can cut some salami with it, but I never take it out camping or anything like that.
It's more of a kind of keep safer.
Yeah, yeah, and just the looks of it because it's so beautiful, so beautiful. So, okay, so what am I working on? Oh, okay, we can start with that. This is an automatic, no washers, no ball bearings. This is also an automatic with ball bearings. This is the Microtech LUDT.
That's the LUDT. That's what I was about to
Yeah.
say. Let me make you big again for a second.
And when I first got the LUDT, when I made these, it was like, okay, it was cool to make for an auto knife. Let's buy an LUDT and check it out. So I took this apart, and they got really good ball bearings. It got two circles of balls, and the design of the knife is great because this is the size of a EDC. I have this in my pocket a lot, and the action is great. The size is perfect, and I just love the knife. What I didn't love was the scales. Aluminium, nothing wrong with aluminium, but they had these inlays.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do it for me. You know, the inlay with this
Kind of like a
textured.
fake that was on a skateboard is what it reminded me of.
Yeah, and you know, it didn't really do anything for the grip. All it did was to make the clip and the texture of the inlay to damage my trousers, my pocket.
Pocket shredder.
Yeah, pocket shredder, definitely. So I was like, okay, this is a very popular knife, and I love it. So I'm going to do scales for it. I'm still working with my prototypes because now I got a new problem.
But it looks like a different knife, Alex.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really does, doesn't it?
gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead. What's your other problem?
Yeah, okay. So on the stitch, out of stitch, we have an issue with no ball bearings or washers. So we had an issue with filling up the gap between scales. On this one, we don't have that problem because we have washers or ball bearings. You have the opportunity to find a sweet spot with the pivot. Now you don't have a liner frame like you do with the ram locks. So with the ram locks, you have a liner frame that lines up everything, and actually the scales are okay if they are not like the tolerances are top notch. If the scales differs like 10 microns there or 10 microns here, it doesn't really matter because the liner frames lines up everything, makes it really easy to get everything to work and so on. You don't have the liner frames here.
So your titanium actually is having to line up with everything that puts that knife together.
Yes, and it's a button lock knife. So there are a lot of moving parts here that needs to be perfect. The tolerances cannot be as wide as they are on the other knives because if it differs like 5 microns here, 10 microns there, that's nothing. But all together, it can change everything, how the parts working together. So with no liners, my scales needs to be perfect. And what I have learned is that, well, my first question was, I got 4 of these. And my first prototype of scales didn't fit all 4. It just worked on one of them. And I tried to figure out why, what is going on. So it was this one actually. When I closed it up, it locked, but not 100%. I could still take the blade and just force it out. So the button lock didn't engage 100% on 3 of them, just on one of them. And I tried to figure out what is the difference with my four LUDTs. I started measuring everything, and I found out that this is something with the tolerances when they have this production knife. The tolerances with the scales on the original knife in aluminium is quite wide. So this is a problem that they had to handle. And how did they do it? Well, they have different sizes of the blade stops.
So they had an acceptable tolerance. It's much larger.
Yeah. So you have a blade stop here and a blade stop down there. And I found 4 different sizes. So let's go back to the knife that didn't really lock up properly. There we go, and it should lock. So if this button lock doesn't really engage 100%, what you need is the blade to go a little bit more in. And to do that, you have a smaller blade stop here. That makes the blade able to travel more inside and make the button lock to engage more here. So my challenge now is to design a scale that the end user, the end customer will be able to fit with hopefully no modifications. So I need to try to find the kind of sweet spot so it doesn't really matter what size of blade stops the customer has. The knife will work with my scales anyways.
Could you build it up with the Cerakote so that they can polish it down if they need to, or would you do a different way of accommodating for that different thickness?
Well, I think there is no way for me to use Cerakote to compensate for the different sizes of the blade stops. And if I make the scale fit for the smaller blade stop, then if you have the bigger blade stop, it won't lock. If I make it for the bigger blade stop, it will fit for the smaller blade stop, but you will have a lot of blade play when in lock position.
Right.
And if you look at these are customized. I've been Dremel here and there just to figure out what I'm going to do. And there is there is a little, but you need that little blade play here. Otherwise, you won't be able to engage the button lock. But you don't want any blade play in open position. You want minimum blade play here.
Sure.
So I think what I need to do is that I need to design the scales for the smaller blade stop. And for you that has the bigger blade stop, I will make a tutorial video on how to use a Dremel. There's one spot that you need to Dremel, and it's so minimal, it's so little. You need to Dremel out maybe 30 microns or something like that. It's not even visible. It's so little. And I think that is the best way to go. So maybe these have been really popular when I am showing these on social media.
They look outstanding. I mean,
Yeah, I think
they
so
look like
too.
an WDT. I mean, they do when you know what it is, but it's got something about it that just looks more refined.
Yeah, and they are so great. So I really want to put them out on the market. And it's really heartbreaking that I probably cannot make them as perfect as I want them to be for everybody. So
Are they made at multiple factories? Because those are USA made Microtechs, right?
uh, yeah, they are. Some of them they make in the factory in USA. Maybe all of them. I don't really know.
I just wonder, and if you found someone like Steve Skiff or somebody who could make you some thin washers, is there any way you could change the modifications of those blades and trim them up with washers, or is that just too much?
No, that will not work because it's a diameter
Ah, gotcha.
of the blade stops. It's a diameter that differs from the blade stops. It's not how wide they are. It's the diameter that really make the terms for how far the blade can travel, and that's the problem. So if I can get Microtech to give everybody all the different sizes of the blade stop, then all is good. Then I'm done.
I mean, it
But
seems like why wouldn't they be able to make that normalized, even if they're working on several lines in two buildings? It would seem like it would be easier for them to fix that little hiccup than work with two different blade stocks or three even.
yeah,
You
well,
know?
it's all when you go on a production knife, you need to make a lot of knives fast, and the tolerances are, you know, for me, it is when I recognize what they're making and how they handle the tolerances. I would say business wide, it was a good strategy because it's really easy to make blade stops in different sizes and just have them laying around there when you assemble the knife. You assemble the knife and it's like, okay, I need to have a smaller blade stop, just put that in and it's done. uh,
Right. Right.
Try to and of course there are different types of CNC machines with different types of configuration on how much tolerances they can handle and so on, and it's all about money in the end, right?
Right. Right.
So I accept how they handle this problem. It makes life more difficult for me, but
It's one way for them to
it's what it
continue
is.
keep
Yeah.
it rolling. Let me ask you this, Alex, and I won't keep you too long, but have you ever thought about the clip side of the business, or is that just too much for too little?
I would say too much for too little.
I was wondering.
Yeah. When I first started out, when I made the first design of the bug out, I actually made a kit. So in the kit, you had a Cerakote hardware, you had a Cerakote thumb stud, you had a Cerakoted clip, and of course Cerakoted scales. And I found out that the end customer doesn't want to buy kits.
Right.
So I just like, okay, let's just do scales. But of course, I don't know. In the future, I might design a kind of Lex custom clip that fits. There's a lot of same sizes, so one clip could fit more than one knife, and maybe I will capitalize on that to make a great clip, but still the clip's design and shape needs to fit the knife.
Well, I would say, I mean, it sounds like your go-to-market plan right now with the blend of direct sales and your dealer relationships, those strategic partnerships. Maybe it makes more sense just focusing on your doing, right? Going and perfecting those next designs and continuing to put out really unique scales at a great price.
Yeah, I think so. And I would say it's like it would be very fun to build my own knife, but that's a huge step from just making scales.
Well, it's a natural evolution depending on how long you, like you said, how long you plan on doing it, right?
Yeah,
It's a natural evolution at some point. And
it
with
is.
people like Kyle and other people that you know in the community, there are a lot of people that can help, you make some of those
Yeah, I would
strategic
really
calls how to
appreciate
go.
that. I just love that with the community, really. But it's a natural step, like Flightanium. They did it. They
Yeah.
started with scales and then clips and backspacers, and now they have their own knife.
Yep, and I'll tell you, I know a lot about that knife. That's Andrew Dimko's 20.5. They are the first company to license his Shark Lock. And so Andrew helped them they had that knife made in the same Taiwan factory. So they had the
Okay.
design and then they had the OEM who'd been making those knives because I own both the arcade and some 20.5s. That was their first knife. I know they've done some since, but it was a great way to keep the quality of that first knife on point because
Mhm.
the design was refined by the company that was going to be, excuse me, making it.
That's great, and that's also one thing that I'm thinking about when I can't sleep. It's like, okay, how would I design the locking system? You know, I think the Axis lock from Benchmade, it's too weak. The Microtech lock is excellent, and they got a pattern. And the Shark lock works really great as well, but it's also patterned. I need to design something from scratch to make it
Well, and
cool.
again, that's one way to do it. Or I think a lot of us, everybody, if you poll them, you might poll 10 people and everybody's going to like different locks. I think the
Yeah,
Axis lock is currently overused, but it's because I'm more of a physical detent guy. I like
yeah,
to have a liner lock or a frame lock or an internal frame lock, but that increases your cost of production too. So it just, again, it goes back to what is the intention of the knife and what makes the most sense.
yeah. I lined up. You started talking about Demcos, so I just want to show you what's on the drawing board right now.
I'm making you big again.
Yeah, so Demco. And this is a funny story. When I bought my first Demco 2 years ago, I was like, oh, I just want to check it out. So I just picked up the cheapest one with a small pivot.
That's the ones I've
And
got.
yeah, and I didn't really like it because it was like rattling. It didn't really, the tolerances wasn't tight enough. And it's like, no, this doesn't really do it for me. But 6 months ago, I got this one, the AD 20.5 with carbon fibers, and I also got the one with G10 scales. And I was like, wow, oh
When
shit.
they upgraded that pivot, it made the whole knife feel better.
Yeah, and I was like, shit, I almost missed something. This knife is excellent. I just love it. The tolerances are so tight, everything just fits perfect, and nothing is rattling. And so I got the Shark Cub and I got the new MA, and I just love them. And this is currently my heavy user when I'm camping or chopping wood or whatever I do. And this is a really great knife.
That's beautiful. And
Yeah,
that's a full size, right? When you
this
call it
is
MA,
yeah, the MA is a full size. It's a lot bigger than the 20.5.
is it also made in Taiwan? Is it going to be?
Uh, I
'Cause I
don't
noticed-
know really.
or is
I
it?
think these are production knives made in China or Taiwan.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
Taiwan is where Demcos are made, but I just have not seen that big one outside of a USA made $500 knife.
I think this just dropped maybe 3 or 4 months ago, something like
Okay,
that.
I just probably
Maybe
haven't
maybe
seen it.
6 months ago. And I just found out that the Shark Cub is discontinued. So
I picked up one of those when they were still out.
yeah, this is a great knife. Well, so I'm gonna do all three of them. And the nice part is that they got liners, the inner frame. So this makes it a lot easier to keep the tight tolerances and the perfect engineering of the knife. Also, this one, and this is the G10 and the carbon fibers, and the titanium models doesn't have the liner frames, so they are frameless. But
Right.
I think if you get a Demco with titanium scales, I think you would be pretty much happy with it. And if you kind of want my scales, maybe you should get another one with G10 scales and upgrade it with my scales. So I'm gonna keep the design with the liners. Uh, and I thought that I'm gonna do this one without liners because the aluminum model is so great. But
It's
this
so
one,
thin, isn't it?
yeah. But I just found out a couple of days ago this is discontinued. So they're gonna keep selling the G10, the
Well, they
G10
replaced that
versions.
with something. What's it called? That little shark, the nano shark or
The
something?
Nano Shark, yeah.
I
And
wonder
it's
if
like,
that's gonna take the place of the shark cub.
I think so. I think so. The thing is that I love the ergonomics, the design, the size of the shark cub, and the nano shark. The is it called the nano shark?
The nano is
Nano.
the little short one. I can show it to you on a Blade HQ
Yeah.
site.
And the nano is it. I think it's a great EDC size knife, but I did not like the design of the handle. It's like the blade looks great, but the handle is kind of funky. And if I'm gonna do the nano, I might need to do a lot of changes to the shape of the handle.
Yeah, because what they did is it looks like they've incorporated more of here's the nano shark. It looks like they've incorporated more of the traditional Demco look
Yeah,
in terms of the way the scale and the pivot, and it looks like it's about the same thickness. I bet that's what's going to replace it, though.
I think so too. But I think they're gonna keep the production of the G10 model. I think the G10 sold a lot, not the aluminum ones, just because it's a
But that's
production
what you want
knife
to do anyway.
in already good price. Sorry.
Well, I'm saying that's what you would want to make scales for anyway. The G10
Yeah,
replacements, I would think, would be the bigger market there.
yeah. So these are on the drawing board. I'm gonna make them a little bit contoured to make them feel more smooth in the hand. I'm gonna make the edges a little smoother so they're not that sharp. I'm gonna make them a little more heavier, but still I'm gonna make the weight reduction milling on the inside uh, just to not make them too heavy. Uh, and yeah, so
Well, the
these are
balance of
my
the scales and the shape that you stayed with. When I say it's shape, the pattern is not only hypnotic to look at, it's very, very comfortable in the hand.
yeah, yeah, and I think my scale is going to do great for especially this one because when I'm using this after a few minutes, it kind of a little hurts my hand,
Because
here.
the corners, yeah, the
Yeah.
sharpness.
So if I can just make those a little rounder and add it up with a little contoured shape, it will fit. It will feel a lot more usable for long-term use. But this is a great design. I can actually use this one to splinter firewood with it. I just put it on the log here and just take another log and just bang, bang, bang.
And it just batons
And
right through it.
yeah, Jesus, this is so. If people thought this
And
was a heavy user, this one really is.
what'd you call it again? The Demco
Demco MA8020.
MA 8020. I'm just Googling it. I found it. Blade HQ.
So if I'm going out camping, it's definitely this one or the MSA.
Yeah, because the
You know, you,
MSI is every bit as beefy of a knife as that
yeah.
Dimco, if you think about it. Now
Mm,
that you've got the scales on it, it's much more comfortable too. I love it. I love it.
all right, so I just can't wait until I get my scales on this one. I'm just like, oh, I need them to get ready so I can use it, so I can use them. Uh,
So
okay,
if you
so
go into designing that, you'll design it. I mean, you've got your scales there that you'll match. How long would it take you to go from um where you can actually mill scales? I mean, how much time would it take to develop those for that Dimco 20?
that's the problem right now because I cannot work with this full time. I got my Cerakote shop as well.
Right.
So I can put maybe 10, 15% of my time into this right now. So I do little by little, but as the creation part of it, or you know, I think that's a good thing because between the sessions, I think, should I do this? If I line it up with that, you know, and then I go to the drawing board and I test my thoughts, and maybe I find it to be shit, and I have another week in my Cerakoting shop just thinking about the creative process and so
Clearing
on.
your head of the things that were bad about it and approaching it with
Yeah.
a fresh look.
So, and sometimes I just take my sketching pad and my pencils to go out in the woods with some snacks and my dogs and just sketching. Uh, so it's a long process. So hopefully, because this is a lot more fun than just standing in my workshop and cerakoting. So hopefully I can put more time into the scales business than the cerakoting business, and maybe in 10 years I do this full time. Hopefully.
Yeah, and you've got a knife design. There's, I mean, if as long as you love it, and I think you've got enough business just right now with you doing it part time that keeps you busy, and you're coming out with unique stuff. Before I let you go, I've got to find out: are you in Sweden? Is it kind of rural? Because you talk about going out in the woods quite a bit. What is the? Yeah, are you in a city? Are you in a?
Okay, so I'm a city boy. I was born and raised in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden.
Okay.
And just because of that, I found that, well, I've had a career in the IT business and I worked my ass off and I got mentally ill, kind of. You know, they talked about walking and running into walls.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
IT is challenging
Yeah.
and maddening as any I can imagine.
So I run into walls twice in my career, and when I left the IT business, I found the woods. I found the quietness. I found all the sounds from cracking trees, wind in the leaves, and animals. And with my HDAD, I just kind of landed, you know. So I'm trying to get as much woods time as I can. And here in Stockholm, you need to find the smallest woods, hide it in the suburbs. So I got myself a lifted Ford Bronco, and I put a roof tent on it and a refrigerator and stuff like that. So whenever I got time, I just take my dog and I just go,
Good
for
for
a few days.
you.
Yeah, I
Good
just
for
love
you.
it.
And find some little stealthy areas where you can get that little bit of quiet and
Yeah,
have that you and your dog hanging out, just cleaning your head. That's wonderful.
that's great. So I found myself getting more balanced, uh, spending more time in the wilderness alone.
Alone is key, I
Yeah.
think, for some of us.
Yeah. So, oh man, we've been at it for 1.5 hours now.
Oh yeah.
Time flies when you have fun, right?
It's just so good to hear about not only how you got into it, but some of the things that you're particular about. and I think the design lines of yours are just wonderful. And you're welcome back anytime. I mean, I know it's not practical to be over there. What is it now? 4:30 over there?
Well, it's not of a big deal when you have fun, right?
Right, right.
So, no matter, no worries. I'd love to be here again.
Well,
Much
I'll tell you what,
appreciating having me.
I enjoy it, and I know some of the communities experience your scales, and I know more of them will. I'll share out your link in your Instagram, guys. I would definitely follow uh, Alex. I'm gonna put his Instagram up here again because this is where you can see some really detailed pictures on what, unfortunately, live streams don't give us some of the ability to do. But give him a follow on Instagram. And then his Etsy store is where, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of those are in stock, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got everything in stock. What I don't do is have coded scales in stock because I wanna have the opportunity to be very flexible. So if anybody finds something they like but in the wrong color, just send me a message which color you like and I hook you up. No problem. I just got a question just a few hours ago. They found my scales for the MSI in wild purple and just, can you do this in pink? Yeah, sure, no problem. So I just create a private listing, send it over. They purchase the scale, and I just code it in pink and send it away.
That's great. That's great. And I mean, like I say, and these guys will tell you, you can go look. I've got a whole playlist of disassembly scale videos where I've installed almost every type of scale out there. And yours have been as smooth and as refined as any. I work some with Rock Scale Designs, AWT, um, some with Original Goat, but the cleanliness and the feel of yours are, I mean, showing them doesn't do them justice. Your Instagram shows them a little better, but just the way that they fit, the way that you have no displacement, your jimping lines up perfectly. Everything about the scale is just next level. I don't know if you can see the jimping there.
Thank you so much.
But Alex, I mean, what a great skill. And I'm so glad I got to meet you because, like I say, I want to make sure that these guys know about you because there are a few that we all use. Lynch Northwest has started to do a lot of scales, but from time to time, you can't find the right knife. And what I love about your approach is you're going on inspired knives that you like. So you're going to be bringing fresh scales that not everybody else is making to the market. And I think that'll be a great selling point for you.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like you need to keep your business a fun operation because as long as it's fun, you don't really care too much about stress or problems or something like that. As long as it's fun, you don't really consider it as work. And just to keep it fun, I only do it for knives that I like, that I feel appealing in design and function and overall quality, except for the Deca. I made
Right.
an exception. This was actually a surprise. So once again, it felt like shit out of the box. But that was kind of okay. This is fun. Let's make this a premium knife. So
And it did. I can tell you, Jim Miller was. I would read you his exact message when he got it in last week. He was like, "Oh man, this is night and day." Because I said it was G Carta because he had the red and black G Carta scales, and I was like, "Well, no, the way I'll set it up is you can put the scales back on if for some reason you don't like them." He's like, "Oh man, no, these aren't coming off."
Alex, I had a question for you.
Yep.
So, do you have the capability of doing inset liner locks?
Insert liner locks. What do you mean?
Scales for the inset. I don't know. What are you using? CNC? What are you?
Yeah, CNC.
Okay, so if you had the right tool path, you could possibly do for inset liners.
Yeah.
Okay. And then does your CNC have a laser attachment as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So
they got pretty much everything. It's my okay. We can just touch base there. A lot of people think that I have my own CNC machinery. and that's not the case.
Okay.
What I do is that I design first at my drawing board. Usually just a sketch pad and the pencil, and when I feel like okay, now we're going somewhere, I draw it up on the computer, and when I'm happy with it, I go kind of next door to make a prototype, and when the prototype is ready, I make the batch. So
I think Kyle, I don't know if you were here earlier. It's kind of like a cooperative where y'all work, where you have access to these different, depending on what craft you're working on.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So
Yeah.
it's more of a community-based workshop where you can rent out time to do whatever, use whatever tools you need.
No, not really, because if you have a really what do you call it? If you have really good CNC machines, you kind of need a fucking degree to work them. So what I actually do is we call it outsourcing the actual manufacturing. The nice thing is that it's close, it's easy, and it's kind of time saving for me, and it's like it's just so much easier.
Because you would have to learn the software on that CNC machine, which is not
Yeah,
really scalable.
So you're
yeah,
talking, Alex, you're basically doing like a print to order, basically.
yeah,
Okay, I'm familiar with that service, and some of the makers, they have that where you just upload a file and then they'll print ship it to you if you need it to be. So
yeah.
okay,
And for me, that's the key. You should always do what you're good at. You should always do what you think is fun, and leave the other stuff to other people. In that way, you can kind of make sure that everything is perfect. If I like to design, I will design it perfect in my opinion. And the other guy standing there and configuring the CNC machine, he just loves machines and that's his thing. He has a boner when he just pushes the red button or the green button.
Because he wants it to be, he wants to be able to take your design and replicate it with his, because y'all are working right there side by side, right?
Yeah, in the area.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I was asking was just because of, depending upon like the laser attachment, you have numerous options for doing different patterns and stuff as well too with that. That's why I was curious if that was ever something that down the line you could look at if people wanted certain patterns or not.
Yeah.
That way, if you printed blanks, you could just go through and add patterns or coatings as needed.
Yeah, but it's time consuming, and to just do one set of scales with a different pattern. It's possible, but I don't think that the customer will pay for that, because they have to hold up production, they have to read in the new files and stuff like that. And just doing one scale, it's just too costly. So
right,
that's why I make 100 sets each.
Right, doing one-offs are difficult if you're not. I thought you had your own. That's why I was curious. That way you could just throw a batch in or whatever. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I had my own stuff, if the machine is just free, I can just play with it, do different But I don't have that opportunity. It would be great if I had $150,000 just to set up my own machine. And
is 100 batch considered big? To me, that seems kind of big into it. Is that not big?
No, I would say as a custom order, it's big, but as a production, it's kind of small, really. So I started doing 50 with my first designs, and I just figured out that there's no margins left. I need to do more to create some margins so I can reinvest it and make other models and so on. And also 50 sets sells out pretty fast. Right. So 100, 150 is kind of the sweet spot. So you can still be flexible into changing stuff, creating new stuff, and just not putting too much money into something that might not sell tomorrow. So just as I said, the Mini-Damas, the Deca, and the bug out scales are on sale now because just kind of the timing just sucked because when my stock was out, I ordered another batch, and when I got them in, it was like from night and day. The bug out wasn't that popular anymore. So,
Well,
I think it's a good sweet spot to make 100 each time.
yeah, and we should be able to put because I still want to do a video just kind of going through the scale jobs that I've done since they were all just kind of installation videos to talk about how they made the knives, carrying them more pleasurable and how I've enjoyed the way they made them feel. Because I wasn't sure with these being Coyote if I was going to keep these on over my Sniper Gray AWTs, and I've not looked back once because the Coyote matches the color of the writing on the blade, so it does kind of pop.
Yeah.
And I think it looks good with the black hardware, but the contouring just makes them feel fantastic.
It looks great. And actually, that blade is Cerakoted in tungsten from factory.
Right?
So it's a really good coating. And as I mentioned before, I really put my first one to the test and chopping wood and everything with it. And the coating really holds up, really pretty good.
And it was actually a blessing that this one broke apart like it did. So I had to break it down because, you know, the pivot is it being crew wear. I was getting some surface rust that I was able to take my rust eraser and get it off and then oil it up real good before I put it back together. Because again, that coating does such a good job, but that crew wear, I'm in that kind of humid southeast. So things we deal with humidity here. But yeah, I love your scales, Alex. I really do.
Thank you so much.
So you're in Blade HQ. Where else can you rattle off?
Blade HQ, Knife Center, knivesandtools.com, and lamnia.com. So Knives and Tools and Lamnia is for the EU market. And
guys, the Etsy shop is probably the best place to get what's available. Night, Jason, I didn't see you, brother. Good to see you, man.
Alex, I have a clear code question when you're done.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy. I was just saying.
I'm just going to ask because I got a buddy who's a master certified Cerakoter. What do you typically lay down as far as about 25 micron?
25 microns is the recommended thickness when it comes to the H series, and 25 microns is about 2 layers.
Right.
But sometimes it's a bit. It's when you put too much, or when you put 25 microns on it, the coating is getting a little bit more glossier. So sometimes when I want the coating to be more matte, I put less hardener in it, and I don't do 25. Maybe I do 15. And it also depends on what type of coating it is, because they got 2 different kinds of finishes. One is the flat finish and one is the metallic finish. And let's see if I got something to show here. The metallic finish is like it's like sparkling in the light.
You're talking about like the FX series?
I can't get it to show on the camera. Sorry.
I said, have you tried any like the FX series, the special effects series?
Yeah, I have. And what I really love with Cerakote is that it kind of gives you the feel of that the material has the color of the coating, because it's so thin. It makes everything so sharp and so crisp. But as soon as you start working with the clear coats, everything gets a little, what do you call it? It's like mushy or
tacky.
Tacky, yeah. It's not tacky when you touch it, but it looks tacky, right?
Yeah, it's gaudy.
Oh yeah. So, and you have to use the clear coats, the H series or C series when you're using the FX.
Right.
So,
And you're typically putting them over top of a like a black, anyways, too, to get the different effects.
yeah, I've been trying different kinds of combos, but still, if you use the graphite black or armor black or something like that, it really helps the effect to pop up more.
You know, one of my favorite ones recently is a cobalt. Cobalt's got that really dark, but it's matte looking too.
Yeah, the coating or the FX?
No, just the coating, not
The
the
coating,
FX.
yeah,
Just the cobalt.
the black cobalt, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a few items on Etsy with the cobalt black, and the cobalt black, it's a black, but still it has this metallic finish, so it feels like I don't know, 900, 1500 grit sandpaper. It got a little texture, and it kinds of sparkles a little bit. So this is one of the problems when you put up pictures on a computer. It never looks like in the real world.
No, it doesn't. But
Let me
this
go grab,
shows
I
a
got a
great.
couple. I'll show you, Alex. Let me go grab a couple that I've got.
It shows a great breadth of what you have available, and
Yeah.
it shows to me the pattern so well. And I love the pattern you do.
Thank you. So that is one example. You have your mouse over the Mini Damas in cranberry frost.
Yeah, cranberry frost titanium.
Yeah, and it really looks so good in the real world. But on the Mini Damas there, it's like I couldn't get a better picture.
It's so
And-
hard. It's so hard to.
All right, so here's a cobalt black that my buddy did.
Yeah.
Turned out really nice.
Yeah,
And
it's really good.
Do you have your hinderer there?
Yeah, I'll grab it in a second. And that's squash green with cobalt black.
Nice. And that's really fun with Cerakote as well. You can actually mix your own coatings, your own colors. So that's what I'm doing now with some new colors coming out. That's a really nice one. Is that smoke bronze or something?
That's burnt bronze.
Burnt bronze, okay.
Well, I'll show you a picture. So burnt bronze is cool, but here's my favorite bronze. I'll grab a picture and share it on the screen. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, I wish you could do some Mannix too. I know you're Spyderco, but look at that Mannix too from time to time. See if that inspires you at all.
I like the Mannix too, actually. I got one just to get a feel for the Spydercos. The problem I had is that I want the scales to be perfect.
Right.
The problem is that the lanyard hole is stamped.
Yes.
That's my favorite bronze, Alex.
That's nice. That's midnight bronze.
Absolutely. Man knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Midnight bronze is the best bronze.
That's great. That's a great color. I use that a lot on my motorcycle. I built I had a BMW from 1978 or something, an R80. And I took it apart. I redesigned the frame, and I put a single centered rear suspension on it from Aleene's. And oh shit, I spent so many hours on it, and I Cerakoted everything, every bolt, washer. You know, I even Cerakoted the tube for the wire on the clutch and the front brakes.
I bet it looks sharp.
Yeah, that was a crazy build. It was so much fun. So much fun on doing that.
There's the hinderer, John. So
that's a beautiful job.
That's a copper scale on that side with black Cerakoted hardware, and then that side is black Cerakoted with copper hardware.
Nice. I had a few questions about the hinderer if I want to do scales for it.
Okay.
And it's like I'm still trying to decide because there's still, and that's the thing. I think it's fun doing scales for knives that doesn't have too many options out there. So, and I think the hinderer got a lot of options.
Well,
And
You know,
it's a single scale. So
yeah, I know, and
that,
it's a real great knife. I just love the knife.
and
but
it's a
the,
$200 scale. So that's what we pay for them,
For
which
one,
means
for
for
one
one.
side.
For one side. And I've got them on 4 of my 5 hinderers. So, and I'm a peasant, so for me to have saved up and bought those, um, the market's there.
yeah, exactly.
You think
That's what I was
so?
gonna, yeah. I mean, if you could do a single scale for 100 to 125, it would be a hit. And
Let me
they're really not
let me take
complicated.
the notes so I don't forget.
I mean, they're really not complicated as far as the scale itself.
No, it's not. They're not. They're not. I've actually had a hinderer. It's like, what is everybody talking about the hinderer? What is so fancy about the hinderer? And it cost like $700. So I got myself one. And the first time I flipped it, I was like, aha, now I get it. That's why.
It takes some handling to understand really why certain things are, and some things I'll hear about and I'll handle them. I'm like, oh, that's not all that. But the hinderer was one that it took me about a week to grow on me.
Yeah. And they got different blade shapes, and yeah, I just love it. And they got the weight. They
Mhm.
have the weight.
But yeah, I think a hinderer scale um, would be very popular. Depending on, and would you say the XM18, Kyle, would be probably the most popular?
Yeah, I mean, because that would be the most universal. And you got more models of that probably sold than any of the other ones. I mean,
Right.
if it got popular, you could dive into Eclipses or XM24s, but I'd say the 3.5 XM18 would be just the first starting point.
I will really take that into consideration. Let me ask you, how about the Spartan knife Aster?
It's not all that popular.
It's not? Yeah, it's like they've been sold out. They've been around for a while, and they got no one making scales for it.
No, and I've had one of those. You're talking about the field grade CTX XHP blade steel one? No,
Ooh,
you're talking about the
too much information.
but it's like $100 knife, right? Or are you talking about the Spartan?
Yeah, the Spartan knives and
The
all the
Aster.
Aster, yeah. It's
Yeah.
about 125, $100, something like
Yeah,
that.
'cause it's got that kind of carbon fiber G10 scale that's not very desirable.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of them. I had one, I bought one, but it was one that you don't see a lot of people collecting in the community. Now, I don't know how many they're making. I know that they're hard to get. Um, but I just don't know how many, how many have been made or how many are out there.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know of
really,
anyone that's got one. That's why I was saying I
well,
don't
I had
think they're
one.
all
I
that
gave it
popular.
away.
Right, but I meant like in general. I don't know that many people that have them, so that's why
Yeah.
you don't hear them talked about. You don't.
Okay, so maybe it's not a community knife per se. It's not a collectible. It's not a knife that it's never been hyped. So it's more like the average Joe buys one because it's going out camping next weekend, and that's it. Maybe kind of.
I wonder because Original Goat did it, and it's only for a couple of models. I wonder because cold steel is not really my language, but so many people buy cold steel. Are there any universal models that, besides the 80-20 or the 80-10, that would, like an American Lawman, would that benefit from a scale? Not really. I'm just trying to think of some more off the cuff that a lot of people aren't doing, but there are a lot of knives out there. I don't know how many people modify those.
I'd say one that might not. I don't know. Have you done any button locks yet, Alex?
I'm trying my first with LUDT, and it's a real challenge
Kyle,
to
did you see those LUDTs?
I'm familiar with the knife. Yeah.
Show,
Okay.
look at these. Unless you,
It looks much better than stock scales.
Doesn't it look different than the stock scales altogether?
Yeah. Well, the reason why I was asking is because there are some good button locks out there, but they're only made in aluminum. And I know a lot of guys would probably like to have some texture in titanium on them. I was thinking of like the Mordax, the Malibu.
Yeah, the Protex.
Yeah, I've been looking at ProTech as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, so like this one is a bad example because this one, it does have milling on it, but this one is still aluminum. But I wouldn't mind having like a newer Mordax with different scales on it.
Which
So-
one? I can't see which one.
Oh,
Yeah, I
is-
made
Oh,
there
here
we
we
go. There we
Yeah.
go. So like that was aluminum and OD green with all that heavy texturing, but that was a limited run that they did of these.
Yeah.
But most of them are just plain and they're slick. So it would be nice to have something with some
Yeah,
texture.
most of them. This one has texture, but most of them are slick.
Which model is that? Is that the Malibu?
This is
Yes.
the Mordax.
Or
too.
Mordax, sorry.
Wardax.
Yeah.
Kyle's is a drop, one of the ones that was more fancy. This is the one when Protect just released it last year.
All right.
I know that the difference as far as the thickness makes a huge difference on the spring pressure. That's why the tolerances are tight on those, Alex. That's why I wasn't sure if you tried them yet or not.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the problem I have is that the tolerances are very wide on the scales from the Microtech factory. So the way they handle that is that they have different sizes of the blade stops, the upper one and the lower one. So with different sizes on these, when they assemble the knife, they can actually fix that wide tolerances problem with the blade not locking up perfectly. Then they just put a smaller blade stop in there so the blade can travel further in, so the button lock engages, and so on. So I found out that there are 4 different sizes of blade stops. So now I need to find out how I should design the scales so that it will work on the customer's knife without too much
Taking that 1 in 4
customization.
chance.
Sorry.
Well, and that's a
Where
difference
it's not a
too.
1 in 4 chance of the right size.
Yeah.
Alex, that's a difference too, though. You're working with on that one, that being an automatic, going to a manual, I think would be easier.
Yeah, it probably will. Probably will.
Yeah, because the only thing you really technically have is the spring and the plunge lock.
Yeah. But
I
the
think that'd
thing
be a
is,
knife that would be very well received because you don't see a lot of options there.
yeah, so there are so many knives out there, and I have so much more time in my life. So why not do a ProTech?
I mean,
As soon as I'm done with all the Demcos and this challenge, I like to do a ProTech. I've been looking at ProTech for a while now, actually.
I was just trying to think of something that's quite a few of them have been sold that don't really give you too many options as far as handles from factory.
Mhm.
And you see people spending a lot on custom just to change them.
Mhm.
But your work's gorgeous, buddy. I mean, I think and the methodology behind your pattern makes it that much more special.
Thank you. And have you noticed the color combination here?
I love that. How did
It's,
you match that? Did you do that by hand, just using your Cerakote?
I use Cerakote, and this is kinetic slate. It's a dark blue grayish color, and the actual knife was Cerakoted from factory in FTE, all the hardware on the blade, and I think this is my favorite color combination. So the Mina Dallas is almost the same, but this one got combat gray. It's also it's a more flat bluish gray.
Very, very pretty.
Just love that combination. And it's fun to work with Cerakote because you can put it on with layers. So on this one, let's see if I
Stress.
can get better lighting. This one I used burnt bronze in the bottom, and then I put a layer on with titanium, and then I brushed the titanium off, and then I put some graphite black on it just to make it dirty to get this battle worn finish on it.
Outstanding.
Alex, have you done any with black cherry yet?
No, I haven't actually. I've seen that color, and I'm thinking about buying a tester bottle just to test it out.
It's cool. It comes out more purple than it does like burgundy, but it pairs well with like black or a dark color with it, like a bronze or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can get kind of creative with it, but it's very cool, very unique color.
What was it? Black cherry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far are we till said faction, buddy?
15 minutes.
All right, Alex, you got any parting words for these lovely people? Y'all definitely follow the Etsy shop. I will put it in the description of this live, and I'll also put Alex's Instagram.
Yeah, I would just like to say that I really appreciate all the support from customers that leaves feedbacks, that comes with reviews, and I love what I do, and I love you guys. And if there is a color that I don't have in stock but you want, just send me a message and I hook you up. And yeah, just
John,
stay safe and be sure to have fun.
Will you make me big for a second? I'm going to show this to Alex.
Yep. Make you big?
Yeah. Here's that black cherry color.
Yeah. It looks great. It really
it looks almost
great.
like a deep. You said purple, but it looks almost. I'm trying to think of the word.
It's almost like a. It's more purple in person than it is on camera, but it's like almost like a wine color, like a Bordeaux or like a burgundy-ish.
Yeah.
Deep. But it's black cherry, and it is cool as hell.
That looks nice. I will definitely get a bottle of it. And usually what I do is just when I have a new color, I test it out on one of these models, and I just put it up there just to show that I have the color and give the inspiration. And if anybody wants a set of scales for another knife with that color, I just fix it.
Thanks, Terry. 1931 Leatherworks, so Killer Leatherworker says, great looking stuff, Alex. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you,
Leatherworks. Up at the crack of dawn. Sun's probably about to come up there.
It's a few more hours left. It's 2 hours left before the sun comes up, and but this is more fun than sleeping.
I agree.
Much more fun.
I have plenty of time to sleep.
I can sleep later. Yeah, and I just want to say also, if anybody get a set of scales that creates problems, don't hassle about it. Give me your information. Show me what's the problem, and I help you out in a video call or whatever. And if it's an engineering problem, I send you a new set of scales, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I've never doubted your customer service because your personality, ever since we first started talking, has always been courteous. You're looking for feedback. You even said you don't have to make a video with these. I'm just curious to see what you think.
Yeah, the customer service for me is like it's everything. I need all my customers to be happy, even when shit hits the fan. It's about how you deal with it.
Exactly. Exactly. We're all going to have those things happen. We all have Mondays that happen day after day. Kyle, you got anything to share with these lovely people before we part out of here?
No, I'm good.
Guys, love you all. Look out for the guys.
Thank you very much for having me.
You'll come back. I'd love to have you come back.
I love to be back. Thank you very much.
We'll hang out. We'll try to maybe we'll move it up a few hours so it's not as late for you.
No worries. No worries.
Guys,
It worked for me.
look out for the guys who go out to your left. Look out for the guys who go out to your right. See over at said faction. And remember, go forward with love in your heart. And when possible, always choose debate, not hate. I love you all.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you,
Take
Al.
care.
Let's watch Shuvon's witness and get high on cigarettes.